Hi guys, so we are going to be building this beautiful landing page, and everything that you are seeing here is what I'm going to show you how we are going to build, from the hero section to the pricing to everything that you are seeing here, the micro mini interactions, and even down to the footer. So we're going to be building everything with WordPress and Elementor, and everything is going to also be responsive, so you can see that it is mobile responsive, and anybody from any place would be able to, or any device would be able to make use of the site. So the next thing that we are going to do is start building the site, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to anyone you feel that might need this. Now let's get into it. Okay guys, so in this chapter, the first thing is we are going to set up the WordPress site. So the first thing we are going to do, and what I usually do, is I'm going to turn off some certain things. So I usually just leave site health, then I turn off these other ones. So with every plugin or theme that you introduce to your WordPress site, you would have to turn off certain things. So the next place that we're going to go to is going to go be settings. So you have to look at every setting. So prior, before now, like you already know, the client has done some certain things, just few things, right, but didn't do much. So when he set up, when she set up the stuff with WordPress, she already had put this, then had labeled her tagline, then uploaded a favicon. So favicon is what you are seeing here. So this is correct, the email is correct. These are actually real sites, like you all know. So I think everything here is correct, and the writing, we're going to go to writing to check if the writing settings are correct. So for categories, we'll change this later, right? If the platform is going to have a blog. So here you're going to have your categories, but for now this looks fine to me. Then reading, this to discourage starting from indexing, no, we need that. So let's go to discussion. Allow people to submit comments on new. Yes, comment authors must fill out their name and email. Okay, that's if we have comments. Users must be registered. Yes, very well, because should they? No, automatically close comments on old posts. No, let's leave it. So for here, break comments into pages. This is like if you want page one, page two, that's pagementation. Before comment must be manually approved. Yes, all comments must be approved. So this is where you put keywords that you are not allowed and everything, but for now let's just keep it this way. So this is how the comments, if anybody make any comments in the page, this is how it's going to look like. We're going to choose one of these, but I think we're going to leave this for now. These are not major things, because this particular website is a one-page website and may not have a blog yet, but having a blog is one of the key things for the website. So we are going to click on save, because they will need it. Since the marketing agency, they are going to need it. So we click on media. So now clicking on media, we don't need to do much. We need to take permalinks. Checking permalinks is very important. We have to have our permalink on post names. So it's already on post names. Even if it might be just check, you can never go wrong with this. Then you can go to privacy policy. Oh, why didn't it go to privacy policy? Okay, so then we already have our privacy policy page. By default, when you install a new WordPress site, you get a privacy policy. Okay, so once you've done that, this is more for light speed cache. It comes with the package when we use Hostinger to install, so it comes with it. So these are the few things that you would do when setting up your WordPress site. So let's move into the next thing. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to install a theme, and the theme that we're going to be going with is going to be Kadence. So yes, I know we're going to be building with Elementor, but I usually like using Kadence theme because it gives me, this is for future proof, right? Just in case there are some things I need to change, or there are some things I need to add to the site, and I need to add it. So I would, this is weird. Kadence used to be one of the top ones here, right? I usually see Kadence. These guys kind of, if I'm not mistaken, purposely hid Kadence from us. Okay, So this is Cadence and this is what we are going to use. Okay, so let's install it. So once we install it, we're going to activate it. So then we're going to install the starter template. So once starter template is done, it's going to ask you to choose, so we just choose classic. Then we're just going to leave this. We're not going to do anything here because this is just the theme. So we are going to go to plugin to see if there is anything that was added. So this is going to be our template. This is going to be like the theme that we're going to use for this site. And if you come to customizer, we can get to customize so many things. So down the chapter, we're going to show you how to customize each and every one of these to suit this page. So why I'm doing this is future proof. I don't want to use hello theme from Elementor, and this is why I am going with this. So the next thing is that we're going to install the necessary plugins that we need. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is install the necessary plugins. So if you come here, you can see some plugins are already outdated and there are two starter templates. I'm going to remove this. This was probably one of the old ones the client installed, so we're going to remove that. Then the next thing is we are going to install one of the most important templates, which is one of the important plugins, which is Elementor, because we need that. Elementor is supposed to be like in one of the most popular section, so let's remove that. If you come down to popular, yes, it's already here, so you can use this. So then we're going to activate it. We're going to activate it but not use it now. Then we're going to add another plugin, which is insert. Let's just put header and footer. So this is what we're going to use because we are not using the pro version. This is, we're going to use everything free. We're going to install this. Then we're going to install this too because we might use it down the line for anything code snippets or whatnot. Even the client needs it. So, but we're not going to activate it now. We're going to activate only this for now. Okay, so for this, we are going to do all this later on because we don't need it for now. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to be setting up Kadence theme. Okay, guys, so the next thing we're going to be doing is we are going to be activating or setting up the Kadence theme. So in order to do that, we have two places to approach that. We can approach it from customizer, right? And we can actually approach it from when we enter it from the home page from customizer here. So from appearance here, customizer, or from the home page customizer, but this is one of the most used avenue. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start with colors. So if you look at the design, we already have some certain colors in the site or the Figma file that we already use. So you could see all the colors lined up here. So we're going to be using them and we're going to use them in the design. So, and this is what we're going to be building, which you've already seen in the beginning of the video. So the first thing is that we're going to start with colors, and in colors, funny enough, it's almost looking the same as the main one. So I have a color palette list here so that we will not have to stress ourselves. So I would just come here and I'm gonna pick the color here. Then we're gonna, okay, I'm going to remove this so that it's not going to confuse us in any way. So this other one came here. We're just going to turn it off. I don't like so many things disturbing my dashboard, so I'll set this one here. So this is going to be the main one. Then this is just going to be the second best color, not like a primary color. So that is why you see this is going to be the accent, like the main and alternates, like more like an alternate this thing. Then it's going to be like the strong text. For the strong text, we're going to use pure black. So we're not going to do so much about that. So we're just going to use pure black for it. Then semi-strong text. We've been kind of using, I'm gonna just leave this because this is not too bad because it's almost using the blue of Cadence theme. So I think I like this thing, but I would change something here because we hardly had used in the design, we hardly used this color, right? So what I'm going to do is we didn't even use this once in the design, so I'm going to change this to this particular color because we really made use of the dark blue. So the dark, sorry, not changing it. So the dark blue was one of the one we really made use of. So I'm going to copy it and I'm going to replace it with this because we didn't really use this, right? Then you have strong text, we have stronger text. Let's see, we have stronger text. We use a lot of the outer gray and stuff, so we would have to switch one of those texts with this. So we would come here to select it and we start with the gray first, 3 3. Then this is like strong text, so we'll just come here, paste this. That's strong text. Then medium, outer gray, that's medium. So we'll just leave this be because this is not so much. Then subtle background, we didn't really have, okay, we had a subtle background, so we've made this black. So one of the subtle background we made use of was I think it was this. I think was it this blue? I think one of the subtle backgrounds we made use of was let me check to be sure. Let's check our design. Let me zoom out so you could see. Yes, this subtle background. This is what we made use of. Okay, so I may change some certain things because this is dark mode. This our site is almost behaving like a dark mode site, but I would still leave it like this. There's a reason why I would not it's a dark mode, but there are some other things in the site that may require not being a dark mode. So subtle background, this is text, subtle text, no, subtle background. I'm just going to leave it at that. Then lighter background, then the background is white. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Then the background, I'm going to leave the background white because other pages we might want to play around with white and see how it looks like. So we're going to leave it. So we're going to click on this to save. Then we're going to go to buttons. So the button, I don't think there's a button here, right? But the buttons can have this color for now. But when it comes to primary and secondary buttons, the primary button would have this as the primary one. Then when it hovers, we have this, you get. So but for the secondary button is going to be different, but we can't set secondary buttons here. So this is just more like hover and hover state. I think it did a good job with this, so we're not going to touch anything here. Then typography, we are going to change typography because the typography that was used was Inter. So we're going to change it to Inter. System fonts, I'm going to put Inter. So Inter, and most of the fonts size that we used was, I think it was 14. Yes, 14. So this is the base font. Then there was something that we did. We used 0 point. So here it's just going to be 0 point. You will see what is this is the line spacing, the spacings between each text. So this is going to be 0.05. So you see what it did to the site. So this is what we're going to use all around, right? So we click on publish. So the highest can be 32. We don't have much, so inherent. So what we're just going to add is we're just going to add, so we can have this and put this. Let's see, you see the spacing as closed. We're just going to apply this to every part of the site. You could see that it's affecting everywhere. Okay, so we've done what we want, and at the end of the day we check if the texts are looking exactly like so if you check our design, we kind of have almost something like that. Then we are going to go back, and we are going to go to our we'll leave header and footer for now, because header and footer are so it's something that we're going to use Elementor to work on. So Elementor is going to be the one that would fixing the header and footer for us. So we're going to go to general settings. I think all these layouts, we may come back to do some things here. Sidebar, we don't need it. Let me go back. Then page settings. So for page settings, we are going to, so if this is a normal page, this is actually a post setting. So in order for us to enjoy or see what a page settings might look like, all we have to do is we have to create a page. So what do we need to do? We have a page that is already existing. Let me copy this link, then click here. So we're going to go to one of our pages. So this page, we can see a quick preview. You don't need to do much. Status, draft, publish, then click on update. So now all we just need to do is refresh. Then we have privacy policy. So now this page would give you an idea of what we want to do. So if you go to page, back to page layouts, then you click on page layouts, you get to say, okay, this title normally I usually don't like them. Then I usually do full width. That is what I use. So this is what it's going to look like. So this, most of the times, this is how it is going to look like. Then you can have option to unbox, but most of the time it's box. So you can disable or enable vertical spacing, but it may not make any much difference. So this is how I leave my own page settings. But when I want to build each pages, I change what needs to be changed. So single post is about a particular blog post you saw. I think if we click on this, okay, none of them is clicking, but that post, since we're not doing much post, we may not spend more time on this, right? So this is our blog. When it's time for anything blog related, so we are not doing anything that required to search, then cite this thing. This is very important. Then the logo is also very important. So now we're going to click on only logo. Then we're going to, since where our design is going to be this, we may not make much fuss about it, but we still need to put it there because it's going to be a dark mode kind of theme. So we're going to upload the logo. And to upload the logo, we're just going to come here. We're going to go to blog first, and we're going to try to just upload all the logos that we have here. So we're going to upload them, and once they are done uploading, we are going to use them in the design. So we're going to select this one now, then we're going to click on this, then we're going to click on skip. You may not be seeing it because of the background, but if we change the background from light to dark, we can see it. Then this is where we can adjust what we want to adjust, right? So once we adjust it, you have this, and you can click on publish. Don't always forget to press publish. Then I think that is here. Then home page. So in the menu, that's the site identity. Then menu, we're only just going to create home page for now, because the rest of them may not be may not be like a menu page. They're going to be custom links, and I'll show you why. So we're going to create a new menu, and we're going to call this main menu. Just put it here in primary, click on next, then let's just add our menu. So you can add menu from here, but if you go to pages, you can also add your pages from here. You can click on add new. So we're going to come here, and we are going to, this is a custom link, so we're going to add a new page called home, and we click on add. Then we're going to click it on a page called blog, because we need blog. Then we're going to add, then we're going to click on publish. So now once that is done, we are going to come to home page. We don't need to set anything in widget because widget is empty. We don't have any widget yet. We're going to come to home setting, and we're going to click on static. Then static, we are going to select home, because anytime someone clicks on www.blogforce.com, it's going to take them to the home page. You get the logic now. So we click on publish. Then for post, we're going to select blog. So you now get the whole 5 yards of what we did. So now if you come to post, there's something I think we need to turn off. So you come to post page, then we come to page. I think we need to disable this. Then from any page I'm coming, let me disable it and refresh the page and see what it does, because some things, even in as much as you disable it, it wouldn't. So I think would enable it, then each page that has it would disable it, because it's needed when we are building some other pages. So now for Kadence, these are just the simple things you need to do for now. You can export your settings every so you don't always start new every time. So but for now, we just need this. The major thing, since we are building heavily with Elementor, we only need the color settings and the page settings, but every other thing will be done in Elementor, right? So the next thing is going to be setting up Elementor. So we're going to be setting up Elementor. So the first thing we have to do is what and what do we have in Elementor. So for the free, where we don't have the ability to use the pro, because this is all free, right? So the first thing is we don't really need to do anything since we are using Kadence theme. We don't need to do anything here, right? But in settings, we can check to do some little things. Like for example, now disable. You see, checking this box will disable Elementor's default color and make Elementor inherit the colors from the theme. So we need the theme color. Same thing with the fonts. We do the same thing. Then we're going to save. Now integration. We don't need all this, right? So the next most important thing, anything from here has to do with pro. So the next important thing is going to be tools. So why is because we are going to be creating our maintenance page. So the first thing is that we're going to right click it to open in another tab. So why the maintenance page? For example, now when you are building a website for your client for the very first time, you would not want people or users to visit, or who has linked to the site, to visit it and see, even for the client itself, for the client, you would not want them to see what you are doing right until you are done, because clients could be funny at times, and they may be asking questions where it's not due, right? So we're going to call this coming soon, and once we write coming soon here, we are going to check if there's anything we need to do here. Nope. Then check here, just check everything. So there's nothing we need to do here. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to click on edit with Elementor. So now this is our first entry into creating something with Elementor. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to make this Elementor canvas. Elementor canvas removes the header and footer because we don't want the header and footer to show. So that's why it tells you that no header or no footer, just Elementor. So that is why. So the next thing that we need to do is we would add a flex box and add this. So in this flex box, we're going to come here and we're going to click on view, and sorry, not this, sorry about that, this view, and 100. So meaning whatever screen size, this is going to work on it. So now we're going to change the color, and we're going to use the color from the theme. So what we are going to click here, you could see that theme's color is already here, as you can see it here. So this is Elementor's color, but we're not using it. This is the theme's color. So we're going to select this because this is what we want. Is this a gradient? No, we selected classic color. So this is what we are going to select. Then when we select it, we're going to leave it like this. So the next thing is that we're going to bring in an image, because we need an image. So we're going to just drag and drop an image. Just we're going to cancel it. You can enter, you can delete it, or just tap here. It's going to enter. Then the next thing we are going to do is we're going to select this logo, and this we are going to go back to the settings of the body, that's the container settings, and we're going to make sure everything in the stuff is going to be at the center. So we're going to justify to the center. So now that's what we're going to do. We're going to cancel this. Then we're going to reduce the size of this to this. So now, so we can put the text coming soon, but I just like this. Nothing to do. Let's attempt it. Let's just, at least they know that it's under maintenance. So we just write here under maintenance, because we might use this not after this, we might use it later on for other stuffs. So after writing this, okay, I think that word is not correct. Then we position it in the middle, then we change the color to so this is font. We come here, then the color to white, so you could see it's under maintenance. So we're going to preview this to see how it's going to look like on mobile. This is going to be on tablets, then this is going to be on mobile. So on mobile it's looking weird, so we're going to increase it. So on mobile we're going to increase it like this, so you visually see what you are doing. So to me, I feel this is cool. Then we click on publish. So now this is not all. The next thing that we are going to do is we're going to come here and we are going to refresh. So now once we refresh, the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to select here, click on comment, so click on save. So now we may not know what we've done, then we have to purge, because if you don't purge it, I'm going to disable this when we start building, because there's some certain things we will do and it may not take effect until you purge, but it's not a big deal. So now how do we know if we have done anything? So now if I copy this link and open it in an Ignito browser, take for example, now I click on this. Okay, so you could see that it is not on yet. So we're going to go back to maintenance mode and we are going to choose coming soon. Before it was disabled, we're going to choose coming soon, click on save. Then when you click on save, you could see that maintenance mode is turned on, and it's good that we actually saw that, so we know the difference between it being on maintenance and it not being on maintenance. So once we save again, and next thing is we are going to open the Ignito file, refresh it. Okay, let me close it, open a new one. Let me purge first. Purge it first, then open a new Ignito file, then paste coming soon. So we have the coming soon, and if we check and inspect it, we can see it is mobile, responsive, clean, and sweet. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are now going to build the landing page. So that is the most important thing here. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we are going to now build a landing page. So and remember, we said it's a one-page website that we are going to be linking the home, the service, the testimonial, the pricing, and the contact us, and we are going to be building this, everything that you are seeing here. We are going to be building. I know I've showed you guys in the intro, but just for re-showing sake. So now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to click on the edit button. This is the homepage. Remember, we created this homepage at the customization level, right? We didn't create it like page. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are just going to click on edit element, because we're not going to do anything here since it's going to be built with Elementor. So the first thing we're going to do is the header and the footer, right? We are going to first of all put this in Elementor canvas. So we're going to return this back, right? So Elementor canvas just give us a blank sheet to work. So once we are done and once we now work on the header and footer, we will now turn it back to normal page, right? So the first thing we need to do is, remember, so this is the first thing we have to achieve. We have to achieve this section. So in order to achieve this section, the first thing that we need to do is to use a container. So now when we put in a container here, if you notice here, technically here is one section. We can easily just put buttons and stack things in order, right? But sometimes it works that way, sometimes it doesn't really work, because you would want to make some changes later on and it may not work for you. So that is why we will be stacking it in sections. So this is a full section, or we'll call it role, depending. For Elementor is all sections, right? So we'll call this a container. So this is going to be a container, then there's going to be inside containers. Don't worry, instead of explaining it, let's do it. So the first thing is this big container, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just put top padding 80 and bottom padding 80. So that is by default. That's what I do use for my bottom and top padding. So the next thing we are going to do is that we're going to create this. So let me zoom in so that you see what we are doing. So this is just a button, right? So we're going to click on add this thing, then we're going to click on button. So now this button, we're going to centralize it. We're going to bring it to the middle. Then we are going to take the contents of the, we're going to copy this, and we're going to paste. Where's the text? We're going to paste. So now this button has a kind of simple adjustment, I would say, in a way, which is we are going to make it a little bit transparent, so there's not going to be any hover effects, nothing. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing we are going to do in order to achieve that is we are going to come to what we call the border radius. So at the border radius, we are going to, it's supposed to be 100. You don't need to span it that much. All right, so we make it 100. I just feel okay, it's kind of weird that it is going, I'm coming, I mean, it's as plain text. Okay, it seems that there's more space here than this other side, but we would see to that. So now the next thing that we have to do is we would need to reduce the opacity. So on the background, this is the background, and we are going to select the background color to be white. The reason why I'm not using the font style, like that is the front properties, because of we are going to still change some certain things in it, so it's not like using the default distance. So then I'm going to the text color, I'm just going to leave it as black. Then we are going to reduce the opacity in a moment. So now, but before I do that, I would bring the background in, because we need this background in order to know what we are doing. So now I'm going to select the background, and I'm going to export it as PNG. So once the background is downloaded, we notice that it is actually very large, 1 MB. So we have to reduce it. So what I use is PNG3, tiny PNG. So once I use tiny PNG, all I just need to do is I would come back to this, then I will just put this here. Automatically it optimizes the size. Then I would use it as reduced to 53 KB. It's still large, but let's just do that for now. So now once I've done that, I'm going to come to the background here, then I'm going to select the color, then I'm going to replace this with the background. So because it's a new one, I'm going to replace it like this. So it's going to upload. So now once it upload, I'm going to click on select. So now once it selects, you could see that this is what we're trying to do. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to reduce the opacity. So the opacity, we reduced it to 20 in the design, so that you would get to see what I'm talking about. So if you check the design, the opacity was reduced to 20. So we're going to reduce it to 20. Let me remove this since we don't need it for now. So now we're going to reduce it to 20. This is 14, 20. Then the text color, we're going to change the text color back to white. So white is actually the correct one. So now we are done with this, the first place. So the second place is we are going to add, the second thing is, if you check, if you hover around it, let me show you. If If you hover around it, it will look like there is something. Okay, I think it's actually good. The hover effect didn't work on it, so meaning we are good to go. But if you want to be sure, like okay, we want to be sure that there's no hover effect, we can actually do the same thing here where we have here as white. So if you check, if you hover around it, then the background color, we are going to also make it white. I'm coming, let me do that. I'm going to make it white. So if you see, if as I hover it, it's now changing because of we altered it. Then I'm going to reduce it to 20. So now both on hover and this thing, you will not notice anything. So just in case to avoid any issues. So now we're going to add a new this thing under it. So this is the first. This one is just, we didn't use a section, we just put it directly. So I would have done this as a section, but there's a reason why I am doing this guy kind of a section, so that just in case we want to do anything in terms of shrinking or measuring whatnot, it's going to be easy for us. So you would see what I'm talking about in a moment. So now if I place the text like this directly, let me show you, and I put it in the middle, you could see that it is very long. Let me change the color to something, sorry about that, I'm always mistaking the color for, and let's copy that. So you could see it's kind of long, right? But normally we can use padding, but padding is going to be too long. So what we can do is we can actually bring in some containers. You see what I'm going to do with that. So here I'm going to bring it down, meaning, sorry, like this, meaning any container that is inside here would not, by default, let's say I didn't do anything and I duplicate, so that you understand what I'm doing. So when I do this, you see that they are all coming down. But if I click here and say, okay, no, I want you to be in this direction, you could see that they are now in this direction. So all I just need to do is put this thing here, and whatever I put in here would take the shape of that particular space you get. So here I have to increase the text to around 40. I think 38. 38 is what we used, right? If I'm not mistaken. Okay, 48 actually. So we used let's just do 40, because sometimes when I notice this thing, the sizes on Figma sometimes a little bit different in a way. So this we are going to, so we can say 30 30. Let's give it 30. You see what I mean by that? And let's give it 30. So if it does not work, we're going to give it 50. I don't think 50 will work. Well, let's try. Let's give it 50-50. Okay, I think this 50-50 looks decent. Let's say 55, 55. Okay, then we give it the color. Sometimes Elementor can be confusing at times. So you have that there. So move fast is supposed to be there. Sometimes if you want to break and you don't want to stress yourself breaking characters that way, you can just do this function, and it breaks it evenly the way you want it. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to add the text, this text, we're going to add it at the bottom, so there's no need to stress ourselves. We're just going to take the body text, add it there, then replace it with this, centralize it, then I think it is this medium text, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's use the light one for now. So we got this. So now maybe we have to increase this. Let's say we remove this. You know how to break it if you want to break it. Let's say we reduce this. I feel we can increase this. So let's just give it 60 and 60. Okay, I think. Oh, okay. I think 70 does the job. Good. So 70 does the job. So now we can have this, but if you notice, we are kind of having some large spaces in between these guys. We can adjust it. We can say, okay, the spacing at the top, but I think let's start with this. So this by default will always have margin issues. So we have the top and the bottom. So we're going to do that. And if we want to preview our sites to see, okay, what have we done and how does it look like, we can click on this button here. So this is what we've done. We can actually see what we've done real time. So in case we want to make any move, any changes, and yeah. So now I think the background is behaving one kind. So we're just going to come here. And if you check what I mean behaving one kind, is like there are some shadows which is not supposed to show. So we are going to click on the position, center. Then we are going to put here, I think it's cover, not contain. Yeah, cover. Contain is no, it's not contain, it's cover. So we're going to click on publish, then center top. Sorry, it's going to be center top center. Yeah, top center. So looking at it, this is what we have here. So, and this is almost the same thing in our Figma. So I think we will reduce the size of this text here. So we're going to come here and we're going to reduce the typography size. So let's say 14. If that 14 was big, let's say 12. Yes, 12 is good. So now this, I think we're going to give it 0. So this 0 enables it to have a closer, so you could see that it's going to be a little bit closer to this now. So I think this is fair enough, and this is perfect for what we need. So we have here. So the next thing is going to be our buttons. So the buttons, we're having book a call, we're having view pricing. So now let's do the buttons. So the next thing we are going to do is that we're going to add a container here. So the container is supposed to, okay, so this is another issue I have with Elementor, is structuring and moving things the way I want to move them sometimes can be hectic. So all I just need to do is bring it down here so you can see it here. So now this okay, yes, so we can have this and we would have these buttons here. So this is the first button, and the first button we would not alter so much on it, right? The reason being is our button is being controlled from somewhere, right? That is the main site button. So whatever altering we need to do, would do it from there. The only thing we're going to alter is the secondary button, which is this button. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to name it. So I'm going to copy the text, and I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to centralize it. So centralize it, then I'm going to add this. So now that is book a call. I think generally, I think there is a space by the left. I don't know if it's me or my eyes or something, just feeling like there's an extra space by the left hand side, on the left padding, but well, you can't really tell. So the next thing we are going to do is, this is what I want to do. Then the next thing is I'm going to duplicate this. Then when I duplicate this, I'm going to duplicate it into 2, meaning this. I think we don't need to adjust or do anything here, so I'm going to duplicate. But when I duplicate it, you see that it is duplicating like this. So what I'll just do is I'll just make it like this. So as you can see, this is it. Then I'll center it. That's all, just like magic. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this. As you can see, it's using the default background. So right now I'm going to put the background in white, and I'm going to reduce the opacity completely. You get the logic. So then when the hover effect is going to still be white, the text is going to be white, then the background would be The background would be our accent background. So if you hover around it, so at least there are different colors. So, but this one, I think it's going to be view pricing. So we're going to put here and we're going to change it to view pricing. So now this is our stuff here. Then let's see how it looks like. Okay, yes. So now why you are thinking there is nothing here is because there is no border. So we are going to add a border to it. And how are we going to do that? We're going to click this and we're going to come here and we're going to add a solid border. So the border there is, so we're going to put one, sorry. So we're going to have one as the border. So the curves, like for example, now you are seeing that there is curves here. The curves are going to apply it from our global settings so that we will not have to be changing things entirely. So I feel this is almost what we want to achieve. So the next thing that we're going to still do is we're going to work on this section. So you could see that the sections are building up and we are building it up nice. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add another section to it, or simply, let me look at it again. We can kind of duplicate. So we can kind of duplicate. So this one, we would just duplicate it, then we'll remove any settings that was added to it. I think that was the only settings that we added. Then we're going to duplicate what's inside and delete what's inside. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add this stop wording. So we're going to copy this. So all this, we're going to change the wordings because this is not the real one. So this is what we just have there. Then we're going to centralize it. Then we're going to make it white in color. So now once we have this here, the next thing is I think we're going to use gallery for this image, but I feel we might not use a gallery. There is why. So without gallery, you can control this. I can control how smooth this is. So we'll take the rough route. So we're going to take the rough route. So we're going to take the rough route. So now the rough route is we have this and we have this. Okay, no, this guy took this thing outside. So I need my structure. So this is the text, this is the inside. So I want this text above this. So now we have this and we are going to, how many boxes do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 of it. So we are going to add this. We're going to click this and I'm going to drag and drop. We're going to add 7 of it, duplicate. So what we're going to do is, remember, we're going to do this. Then let's remove this. This 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 6, 1, 7. Okay, so now the first thing is that we're going to export these guys. Okay, I think they are all here. Then we're going to export as PNG. Then we are going to locate it. Then we are going to open it, extract here. So once we extract here, we're not going to do anything for now. We are only just going to click here and add image. So now I'm going to delete this and I'm going to come here and select everything. Then we're going to click on open. So now I'm just going to I can bring them randomly, right? So, but let's just follow the order that we have here. So, take for example, now we have Uber, then I'm just going to put images in these places so that it's going to be easy for us. So once we get to each and every one of them. Okay, so we have Uber, Headspace, Meta, Airbnb, Uber, Headspace, Meta, Airbnb. Let's just follow that order. Resolute, Meta Lab, and Pinterest. So as you can see, this is it. It's if I click on publish, right, you can see how well arranged it is. So you can adjust the sizes. Take for example, now you want them to be 10, you can adjust the spacing. You want it to be 5. It all depends on what you want to do. So you have that. Then I think that's almost what we have here. So this is this for here. Then next thing is that we're going to build this section. How do we go about this? The first thing is, let's zoom in to see what it is. So this is just a box, more like a card box than content inside. So all we are going to do is we're going to export this first, which I've already brought them out. Then we're going to bring them in. So now, if you notice, this side here has a curve, and these guys are looking like they are entering this place. So yes, it's possible. So we're going to achieve that. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to bring something that we call a spacer. So we're going to bring in a spacer. So I think I can, without a space, I think we can use, let's see if this is going to work. Let me try. 500. Yeah, okay, I think we're going to use that. So if I bring it to 200, let's see what it's going to give us. Okay, almost. Let's just say 220 or 250. No, 250 is going to be too much. So it's going to be 230. So 230 looks like it's almost there. Okay, I think 220 is perfect. So 220 has that perfect thing with it. Okay, we can't see the end because let me refresh and publish. Okay, we can't see the end. Hope we didn't use this. Okay, no. Okay, so once we add something to it, we are going to see the end of it. So we're going to add a new section to this, or new container. So now once we add a new container, so remember this particular thing here is like three boxes in one, like three boxes. So what are we going to do about that? So the first thing is, as you could know, we would bring in another box inside. So now this box, we are going to, it may look like we are saying so many boxes, so many containers, but this is why. So we bring it in. So if you even click on structure to see the structure, you would see it here that this is the main container, this big one. Then we have one container, and in order to house 3 containers, we need another container inside. So that is why you are seeing it like this. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to duplicate this into 3 places. So duplicate it into 3 places. And after duplicating it into 3 places, we are going to hit this, and we're going to take it to be horizontal. So horizontal, we have this, and this is almost similar to what we have here being horizontal. So the very first thing is we're going to bring in our image as the background, right? So before then, we would, okay, yes, we're going to bring in the image, and let's add the image as a background. So I'm going to upload them. I'm yet to upload them. So these are the images minus this upload. So once they upload, so the first image is the lady on glasses. So now this is it. So now also we may not give this background anything because the background is very important to us, and as it is important to us because we would have other things that are going to come in very soon. Okay, the next thing that we are going to do is we can make sure the image sits well, full image, top, then top center, then we're going to use the cover thingy, right? So we're going to do that, then we're going to now add our details inside. So the first details that we're going to add is our header text, and we're going to add our body text. So they may not seem well now, but don't worry, as we are building it you get to see what it looks like. So as you can see, we can actually make the the things that we want to do at the bottom, but let's first of all try to bring in the main details of the thing. So here we have it at 16. Okay, so this is the header text and the body text. Let me bring it in. So we copy the body text and we replace the body text. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we kind of have two ways to do this spacing. Let's try giving the top, like, yeah, let's see how that goes. Okay, okay, I think that kind of does the job in one way. I'm coming in a few seconds. I would change the colors to make sure we can see what we are doing in the first place. Then I'm also going to change this color. Okay, so now if you notice, we kind of have it in a box, like there's spacing here, there's spacing there. We can actually achieve that. We can actually achieve that. Okay, now so how do we achieve that? We are going to reduce this first. So we're going to reduce this to, I think we said 16, right? 16. Then here would definitely be 14. I'm reducing this to 14. There's a reason why. So we're going to have this in the middle. Then we're going to also have this in the middle. How is 16 taller than bigger in my eyes? That's weird. Let's try 12. Okay, yes, I think 12 looks much okay. Then the issue with this guy that always had an issue. So we are going to, that's the bottom and top margin. We're going to work on it. Good. So now the next thing we're going to do is, in as much as this has, let's just give it 200. So we need to also have a bottom padding. The bottom padding, we need to know where the bottom. Okay, so if we make the top, let's say 150, the bottom should have like 50. I'm trying to also make sure I get the edges from the bottom, right? So let's try this number. Let's try, okay. I think it does the job. I want to check if we have some. I'm going to change it back, but we have some gradients at the bottom, so I want to check if those appeared. Right. So I think so, but let's check our image to be very sure that that is what we have. So this is her. Okay, that is a little bit far from what we have. So we're going to try to see if we can optimize to get what we want. Okay, so after a lot of back and forth, I was able to reach a particular conclusion. So I reduced this to 11, minus 11 because of the spacings between these two. Then I made sure this entered another line because there's a high tendency that majority of what we're going to have would enter another line. So that should take care of the box behind. So I know the length of what we have would not be greater than this, and the rest would always form another line by themselves. So I think this at the end of the day gave us a sweet spot. Then for what we're trying to adjust back and forth, so top 25, bottom 60 was like the so it's just like that is what we had. So I think there's something I need to confirm. I think that should be, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, okay. So the width and the height are actually a little bit different. So we may not be able to use that to judge, except these guys do width and height. Nope, don't. So yeah. So yeah, that's we got this one. So once we've gotten one, it is very easy to just duplicate. Just don't worry, we're just gonna delete this, duplicate again. We're going to delete this. So we have this now, and let's refresh to see what we have. Okay, it's kind of weird in a way that we have this. Didn't we give our stuff padding? We gave our stuff padding, right? Why are they so much closer to the top? Okay, we didn't give the top 80. It does not mean. Okay, so what I'm saying now is that once we have them equal in the same size, we would have to adjust it. So let's say we adjust these to, okay, so the adjustment would 55. Let's just say we adjust this to 55, and let's see, 55. The problem is why I'm using this method is the 55, then we have 55. Let's see if this is going to work on all three. All three didn't go on 55. So I'm thinking of something. If we have images that would constantly change based on size and how the width is, I think we make the image contain. So let's try that. So we are going to come here to the image and do contain, but we'll put it in no repeat so that it wouldn't. If I don't put it in no repeat, if I say repeat, you could see it has some edges, right? If I put it on no repeat, meaning everything we're going to do is going to stay in a box. So I'm going to do that to this, and I'm going to put the on no repeat, contain, no repeat. I'm coming. Let me check that image, no repeat, contain, so that they don't, it contains the box. The thing that we adjust is this. So I'm going to try that experiment, right? So you could see that this is what we have here. So I'm going to try something. Say for example, now I now decided to add, let's say I put this back to 0, for example. Now, so whatever I do here does not affect the background anymore. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm just understood what I did. So this is the image size. It does not get fatter, does not get lesser than this, right? So it is now for you to know what you are doing. So yes, the only thing that may affect the size of the images if we start playing around with this. I think even this, yes, that is the only way. That's if we are overstretching this. So if you could check this, it's actually So these and these are the ones that that would affect it a little bit. So if I reduce this, so and why this one is even doing is because of the rest are in the same command. That's why it's not even flinching or doing anything. So if you check here now, this particular one is on I think it's on 55. So that is why it doesn't look like this one is changing a bit, but we just have to put everything in the same pattern. So as you can see, we have 50, 55, 50, 55. This gives a good look. So this is what we are going to use, and this is what we are going to use going forward. And I think it's very cool. And this helps us do what we want to do. So I think later on, if we want, we can also reduce the spacing between them. May not really show, but I know another way to do that, right? So we may not do this. So if we want to reduce the space between them, let's check. There's a good number of space, but if we want to really, really reduce the space between them, we can do like you come to this main header and we would add left. Take for example now 20 would have 20. Okay, that is not good enough. Let's just say 100. Then we have 100. Sorry, did I put 100 there? So you could see that it's compressed it together, and I think I like this. I prefer this. This looks much better. So okay, so the next thing, if this doesn't go well for you, another way we can do it again is if we don't want to do it from this space, we can also do it from here. I think here would give it more effect. Like for example, if we put it here and we put the left we're going to put it 50. We can, you see, without even doing so much, I give it 100 and I give right 100. You could see that it shrinks. You could see it shrink, but we don't want that. Let's try 50. Sorry, I'm trying so many things. So in design, you just have to still keep trying to you have what you want to be perfect. Yeah, I think this is fair. This looks fair. Yeah, this looks very fair. Okay. So another thing again is this particular guy, we are going to do the same thing to it because we notice that the background kind of isn't sitting the way we want it to sit. So what we're going to do is we're going to come here too. We're going to use contain, then we're going to put no repeat. So contain no repeat. Contain no re okay, the contain no repeats maybe too much for it. Okay, but this should be a full width, right? This should be a full width. Let's check this. Okay, in as much as a full width doesn't do anything. Okay, so I think we may take that back. So just imagine you didn't see that. So we are trying a lot of things to just try to default. Let's just do the cover. So at the end of the day, we are going to adjust it. We are going to adjust it. It's going to be adjustable. So the next thing is we're going to fix these items, fix whatever content it's inside them. Okay, so the first one is we're going to change this image. We're going to replace it with this guy. I think that guy on camera. So this guy on camera. Then we're going to change the content. So his content was content creation. That's a tongue twister. His content was content creation. Then so I'm breaking them at the middle. Like for example, now this long, especially this one. So I'm trying to see. So you can use code to break it. You can see where the long is. So you BR. So that's what I use to break it. So we can have that break there. So, but if we don't use this brick, you might ask, what else can we use, right? So, if we don't use that, we can actually use left and right padding. So, if we give it 100, it has already, let's do 50 because 100 seems to be very big. Okay. That does the job. We'll do it on every one of them. So let's make it 60. 60, 60. Yeah. I think that does the job. So we're going to correct this one too. So this is more like we building together. So yeah. So we're going to do the same thing here. Give it 60, 60. Yeah, we have that. Okay, so this guy, the last one here, who is that? Okay, the pencil stuff. So we're going to click on this and we're going to change it with the pencil, pen, and this other stuff here. So now, once we are done with that, we would change the content here. So we're going to come here and change the content, and we're going to replace this. So remember, we've not done this to this, so we're going to put 60. We're going to put 60. So we click on publish, and on clicking on publish, we get to check what we have done, and this is what we have done, and it is the way we want it. So now I'm also thinking the text may be too bright, so I'm thinking the one closest to, no, this is too dark. No, that subtle color is not subtle. Okay, let's go back to white, then let's give it 80, or would you say 90? Yeah, okay. I thought, okay, 90 is good. So we're going to give it, it's already white here, so we are just going to give it a little bit so that in reading it's readable, because I feel the white color is just too white for us and it's not readable. Like, let's see if there's an improvement with that. Okay, so we have this here, so you can adjust the it to whatever preference you may like. So we have this here. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate this, and we're going to work on the other side of it. So that's this side. Okay, so I'm realizing that we didn't even fix an image here. That's not a problem. We just have to, once you are submitting it to the clients, they will provide the correct images for it. So these are just placeholders. Okay, so we are going to change this to, what was the other thing? Okay, then we're going to change the content to performance marketing. Then we're going to change this to this. See that it does its job by itself. Then the second one, we're going with social media management. Then we're going to change this to the main content. Then we are going to change the background to the social media manager. Then this, the last but not the least, we would change this to influencer. Then we're going to copy this and change this to this. Okay, so I think we've gotten this. So since there's no right place image for this, we're going to leave that image for now. So at least we've gotten our um four elements, right? So what I might do is here now we have to we have to remove this stuff. So we will just come here and remove it. That's remove the color behind it. Then we are going to click on, So now the next thing we're going to do is we will remove the top padding because we don't need it. So then we are going to the margin at the top, we're going to carry it up. So this is where the magic comes in. So we'll adjust it to somewhere very, very favorable. Then we click on present. Let's see what we've done. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Okay, so now the most important thing that we need to now look into is our site has white. So we have to fix that. So I don't know. Let's go to page settings. If there is a style, our page is supposed to have background. Yes. Then let's see if it's going to give us what we want. Yep, yay, we've gotten it. So we have this. So now this one of our problem is solved. So the next problem that we kind of have in a way is this guy. So now this particular guy, in as much as we will try to select us adjust this thing, it may give us issues. So let's try to see if we can force a curve at the bottom, right? So if we can force a curve at the bottom, so we're going to go to border and we are going to click on border radius. So if you notice at this right hand side there is a curve at the border radius there. So let's see if that worked in our design. So as you can see, that curve was the best curve, right? So as you can see, it did the job beautifully. Or we have to make it around 70 because that curve looks a little bit too large. So this is our curve. So it's not using the image curve, but the good thing that we have is if we check our Figma file, this is what we have. So what we can do now is, since we can manipulate our curve without any issues, we need to center this gradient stuff to the middle. So we're going to come here and we are going to, on the background, we're going to do center, right? So at least the gradient stuff is in the middle. So as you can see, voila, we have this. Oh, I forgot, it's at the top too. So it's at the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back here, did it at both the top and the bottom. So we're going to click on this. Then if you check here, this is top right, sorry, top left, top right. So we're going to remove it from anything top. So as you check, as you can see, it is gone. If you check here now, it's going to go a few seconds and voila, it's gone. So we check again and check our design and see if we have this right. And I think so. So we have what we have here in our Figma file. And I think we are good to go to the next section. Mm, dudum, 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 dudum. Oh, who is it? Mhm, 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 mhm. That's bad. Okay, one, two, ready, go. So we'll be building this section next, and the first thing that we have to do, let me increase it to 60. So the first thing that we have to do is we're going to build a one big section. This is one section. This is one section. So we already have something familiar, similar to that. Sorry, not familiar, similar. So we're going to click on Flexbox, and the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to select this, and since we have two different sections, so we're going to break this one. We're going to put this box here. This is going to be section 1, and this is going to be section 2. So we have two sections. So now we're going to deal with this first section first. For this first section, we have to put in another section. Why? Because we have 2. That's 1, 2. Right, so they can be like we may not need two boxes, but sometimes why I like two boxes is to just give that simple positioning, right? So we are going to have this and not to have any issues. So the first one is we're going to have the header text here. Sorry, I'm always taking color for so we have the header text and we're going to copy it. So now it isn't that thick, so we're going to change the weight to normal. Yeah, there we go. So we have this. So but we have to adjust it. That's the padding. That's the left, I don't know, the right one. Okay, good. So we have that. Then we check our design. We have that. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. So you know why this look like it shrinks? Because of we used the 50-50. So if you want to remove it and let's say make it look like it is positioned in this side, you can actually do that. So it all depends on you, your design, and what you are going for. So but on our Figma, they actually look aligned. So I think we would have to use that. Yeah, so we might go back here to I just like things being aligned. Right. Okay. So we just go back here to do it. So we just make everything aligned. Okay, yeah, so everything is now looking like it's supposed to be. Yeah, but the gaps are quite big. So we have to actually increase this gap as well so that it's going to look seamless. But in our design, we'll come back to adjustments and everything. So I don't want to fixate on that or just keep adjusting, tweaking. The next thing is we are going to have this text. Going to replace it with this, and we are going to change the color to obviously white, and yeah, we are going to adjust the padding from the left this time around. Okay. Okay, I think it's more in the center. Yeah. No, it's supposed to align left, but there's just supposed to be space coming. We're not supposed to have a space, and it's supposed to be at the end. Okay, we would look into that because if I put it at 0, right, it is starting at the end. It's starting at the left hand side. So if I align self, you see, it's not aligning to start coming. Let's try this again. Okay, probably there's a reason why. But we're going to look into that shortly. So, but the thing is, yes, but our design actually starts from the left, so we're just going to leave it at that. But we're going to we're going to take these guys back to 0. I believe it's also the what do they call it, the margins. Take for example, now if we want to bring it much closer to the right hand side, you could see how we've pushed it, right? We can force it, but we don't want to force it. Let's just do what it's supposed to do. So we are going to increase this. Okay, so we're going to increase it from the left hand side to 150. So then we're going to publish. So as we can see that there is a padding from here. So what I might do is, let me check something. I'm not enjoying it as it's so much on the, on this side. Let's see if we can amend that. So this is justified. Okay, then we're going to remove this from 0. Then we're going to, I think this is going to be the best way to address that issue. So we're going to have it like this. Then yeah, I feel this is going to be better. Let's check our design. So yeah, this is much better. So we have this here, then we have this here. Then I'm going to work on the line height of our headers. So I think we need more space for the line height. So I won't control it from here. I'm going to control it from the customize. There's a lot that we are still going to do with customizer. When we go to optimization, we're going to optimize the buttons and some other things. So I think this is okay. I think this is fair to me. I prefer this than what it was doing before. So when I was meaning spacing, the spacing between this line, the line height between this is too close. So now we've done this, then we are to work on this. So this shouldn't be too hard, right? This shouldn't be too hard. So we have something like this. Let's see if we can copy. So sometimes you can copy. Yes, good. So we are going to copy, we're going to duplicate, and we're going to duplicate. So once we duplicate, we're going to reach here again and make it horizontal. So now the background, we'll deal with this first. The background, we're going to delete this and we are going to replace it with we're going to replace it with this. Yes, the subtle background color. Okay, so after doing that, we are going to check on some other things. So we are going to check on this. So now remember we did some kind of padding craziness here at the top and at the bottom. So we did some padding there. So now we are going to, let me try this. This usually used to work. I know it usually used to work. So we can push this to the end. But before pushing it to the end, let's just add our image. No, above. Okay, good. So the image itself has pushed the design naturally, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to export the images. So another thing again I've learned is these images have to be in the same size, meaning if I am having a box, like if I'm having a box like this, say for example now, this image here, I let me just reduce this to, let's say, 7. So now this image I would position it here. So the reason being is so that when I am sending all of them, they would be at the same size. So when exporting, these images has to be in the same size. So for this, I would just remove it and replace it with this guy. Then I'll just duplicate, do the same thing, so that when I'm exporting them, they balance equally. You get the whole logic. I hope you get the whole logic. So we're going to do this. Okay, so we're going to change the remove it totally. So they're going to all be in 0. Then I will just rename them icons. Icons. I use Control R to do that, just in case you need. That's Control R to rename. So I just rename them icon 1 to 2. So we're going to export them as PNG. Then we're going to open it, and we're going to just leave this one first. Then we're going to come here, select this, then we're going to upload, then select it, then click on upload. So now the first one is a phone, so we're going to pick the phone. Okay, so the next thing you have to do is I think we would have to rearrange this. I'm just noticing that this came above this. Okay, yes. So now we have the image, we have the spacing. Let's check here. Okay, so I'm coming. I don't think we did the right one. We have, yes, we have two. So I did everything here. So I think if we come down here, we have, let me give it top. Let's see, 20. Okay, good. We have a 20 padding at the top. Okay, I know why. So if I delete the rest, you would see that there's going to be a change in this. So take for example now, I just add new containers to the left and add new containers to the right. You could see that there is no formal padding between the top side and the dot, so that it's not going to be deceiving us based on what we are doing. So you understand what we are doing. So here I'm going to give it 50. Then at the bottom I'm going to give it 50. So now I'm going to look at our design to know if we're missing anything. Yes, I had the feelings I was missing something. That's the button. So we would duplicate this. Then we are going to take this. For some weird reasons, okay, let me just be taking it from one section to another, because I don't know why Elementor doesn't make dragging stuffs easy. So that's just lazy me. Normally what I should have done is I should have just come here and put the button, but because I've done this before, I didn't just want to do it again. Yet, so we have this button here and we have this here. So this is what we have now. So now we can refresh to see what we have. So yeah, this is it here. So at this aligned, yeah, because of this shadow, that is why this guy looks like he's not positioned well, but is actually positioned well. Then we have to copy the text, which is book a free consultation call, to give that long effect. Okay, book a consultation call. So now we have something like that. So this is what we have, and we shouldn't forget that we should also give a padding of 80/80 to the top and bottom, like top, sorry, 80, bottom 80. So when you check our design, we refresh, we have that. So we have one, and once we have one and make sure everything we need is there, we will check very well to make sure, okay, the top is what we need, the bottom is what we need. We check again very well. I think I now remember what's missing. So now if you check closely to our design, there is this subtle stroke by the left and the right hand side. So we're going to look for that stroke. and okay, it's white inside. I think it's white. Yes, it's reduced to 20%. I know that this isn't like pure white. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to background border. We're going to make it, sorry, solid. You may not see what we are doing until I remove it from there, but I don't want to leave here. Then I'm going to make it white. Then after making it white, I'll make it 20. Then after that, do we need, yes, border radius is going to be 1, but the border width is going to be 1. Then let's see if we did it right. So yes, we did it right without even looking so much. I'm already seeing what we are planning to do. So here is it. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to duplicate. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate, and we're going to duplicate. Then we're going to delete these guys. This was just like holders for us. So the next thing is we're going to replace the element. So the other one that we had here was a marketing bag. So we are replacing. So if you see now, in respective of the shape and size, it's maintained the position. So that's why we put them in a box initially. So this content would have to change. So we are going to come here, copy, then paste. Then we're going to select all. We are going to, sorry about that, paste. Then we would also come here to influencing. We are going to select, and we are going to copy, going to paste. Then I think this is it for this section. Then let's see what we've done. Okay, so this is what we've done, and I think this is very good. So we have this, and this is looking fresh and looking very okay. Don't worry, animations, micro interactions, we're going to be doing that during optimization, so you shouldn't be worried about that. So if you are worried about this place not aligning, right, so one of the things you'd have to understand is this. So if you're worried it's not aligning, just do this, and you see that these guys now tend to align with these other ones here. Okay, so do we have any other thing? Nope. Okay, so we will check our design again to make sure everything is in place. So you can see that it's now aligning very well to both sides. So the next section would be, let's zoom out, the pricing section. Okay, so there's something I actually forgot here. I forgot to change this, so we need to change that to this. Then I think we are done with this place. So next is pricing. So as we've done in the past, we can actually kind of copy this in a way, right? You know, when you're building things, you don't have to stress yourself so much sometimes. So this particular banner, we are going to copy. Then we are going to create one, and we're going to paste. So you have the container and you have the container with stuffs inside. You see, made that jobs very fast. So it's not every time you have to stress yourself on something. So we paste here, but we have to reduce this weight to normal. Okay, that is that. Then this, we replace it with this. So now where we now have the work to be done is here. So I'm thinking we can still borrow from some designs here, but no, I think I may start this from afresh. Yes, let's start with this. And once, the good thing is, once we can do one, the rest is not going to be hard. So now how do we do this? So the first thing is we need something like this, another container here. So I'm going to duplicate this container here. So let me just cancel this. So I'll duplicate this container here, and once duplicated, I'm going to delete this. We don't delete everybody, like literally everybody. No, let me see if there's any settings on this. Yes, there is a setting on this. So we're going to duplicate. Just hope there's no settings on them at all. Yeah, there's no settings on them. So now we're going to start with this. And the first thing that we're going to start with is we're going to start with the border. So let's just, wrap up the border as fast as we can. So, and to do the border, we have the border is using, I don't know if I carry this color, right? I know I took it to the design, but let's see. So for the border, we're going to come here to the border side, and the border we're going to click on solid. And when we click on solid, we are going to try as much as possible to add one. Then after, we are going to change the border color to the one we have. Let's see. It wouldn't show us yet. So then let's put this. I think it's going supposed to be 20 if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be 20. Yeah, 20. I'm going to give it 20. Then we're going to click on save, so that then we are going to see what we have in our design if it's the same thing. So as it's doing its own saving things, let's do the needful and put the things that we need to put in the design. So after refreshing, we would now check to see if it's there. So we could see it's there, yeah, but there's nothing inside. So now let's drag, let's drag inside. So we have this, the header, which is this. So we are going to okay, I thought of something. There are a lot of spaces in this thing, so we're going to be doing lots of spacing. So we're going to make the size, but let's see what the color is first. So this is white. Then we're going to make the weight normal, and the color is actually that of as this. I mean, I'm not even seeing the difference. We might choose another. We might make that thing a little bit darker because I'm not really seeing the difference with it. Yeah. Let me see if that's what I chose. I chose that light, but it's not showing. It's not telling the difference. So I'm going to duplicate this. So is there enough space for the from the top to the bottom? Let's see. Mm, yeah, and we'll reduce it a little bit because it's kind of big. It's going to be dragging with a big font. So we can just, since it's H2, we'll just put it H3. That's all. We don't need to do so much because we already have a settings for H3. Then we would call this is going to be bold because this is where the figure is sitting. We increase this a little bit. So we're going to put this back to default. Then we're going to increase this to around 40 here. Once we've done that, we are going to just add a, I'm still going to use a header, but let's try H5, something smaller. Oh, okay, it will adjust because we are making use of a custom size. So what do we put there? So if we put H6, so H6 is very small. So all we just need to do is, okay, so we're going to reduce the weight. So after reducing the weight, we're going to adjust the margin at the top. Sorry. Um, yeah, top. Okay, yes, sir. I was doing right. So something like that, not too. Let's just say 5. Yeah, that should be okay. Let's check. Okay, so I think that's a fair position, right? And the color it's making use of is okay. I think it's still making use of this other white. You see, I told you I can't even differentiate it. So let's use the normal white for this. So we may change it. There is no difference. I'm going to reduce that. I'm having the itch to reduce it. So the next thing is that we're going to do something similar here, right? So this particular guy, I'm going to still duplicate it. Then I'm going to clear this off to 0. Then I'm going to increase it a little bit. Yeah. Then I'm going to make it bold. Just sorry, taking it back to default. Then another thing I'm going to do is let me just copy the text. Okay, I'll copy this text as well, so it's not going to be like everything is fonts. Then here too. So I'm going to change it. Then I'm going to do a padding here. So I'm just going to do a padding here at the bottom. So it's going to give it a little bit of space because we have a little bit of space. Then I forgot to add 80 by 80 here. So we have 80 here, then bottom 80. That should give us, that's the bottom. If you come here, so we can see at the bottom here, so that's top and bottom margin. Don't worry about this side, we'll work on it. I just want to first of all finish up what's inside here. So I feel as this is bold, I can still leave it in 6, right? I can still leave it in 6. So the next thing is I'm going to now have my buttons, right? I'm going to have my buttons. So in order to have this, what we're going to use is we're going to use icon list. So we're going to carry our icon list. We're going to place it here. And is there a way for us to use a custom? Should we? Yeah, we can. So we just did one of it and exports as SVG. So we are going to export, update, upload, enable to active before know that such file include security Elementor could run a process to remove possible material, but there is still a risk involved when using such files. Yes, that's if the file has issues, right? But this one, it's our own file, so no problemo. That file is big. I didn't know it's that big. It's big. Okay, so let's clear this and we are going to write the first thing. For this, we're going to write first, then I'm going to change the text to white. But I think I'm going to prefer an icon. I'm coming. I think we can find a check mark icon. Let's do that. So we have that. So let's look for a check mark. This is a check. Okay, think we only have some few amounts. Let's just use this. I like the icon, but I'm not feeling the vibe of the icon. All right, so it's actually making use of, okay, let's just use our S, trying to make up my mind on this. So let's just go with this subtle background color because that's what it is. But the problem is I'm not even seeing it. So I barely even see it. Let's check if we are going to see the one that we uploaded. Just click on send. Then let's see. It's not showing, it's not too bad, but I think the color is going to be on our own side. We need to change that color. So I think we would just do the needful and have to brighten up that color a little bit. Yeah. Well, instead of us doing it here, let's just remove this. So everybody back and forth on this because on the design it looks appears much better. Or we're going to use a white one. So in order to use a white one, let's use this subtle white, right? Then replace the icon. Check with this. Let's go with this. Okay, so we have that. Then we can duplicate. So for the duplicating, we're just going to copy this. Then we're going to copy the last one. And we're just going to duplicate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of the text a little bit. So I don't know what size it's using, but let me see if I try 14. Okay. I think it's using 14. Yes, it's using 14. Let's leave it. It's using 14. Then the icon, let's publish to see what we are doing. Let's see. Okay, it's actually good. The only problem we just have is the text. The text is, there's no difference like the way we have difference in terms of lighting and the rest. So what we're going to do is, in as much as we've chosen a color, we're just going to reduce. I'm going to do it globally because it's not just affecting there, it's affecting almost everywhere I'm using it as a subtle color. It's not working very well as a subtle color. So let's just finish this and we'll do it. Then the button we're going to add, I don't think we'll just copy this because this kind of have almost what we want, and paste. Then we will stretch it. You get, so it touches both sides. Then it has this curve of a thing, so we're gonna do that to it. So we're gonna just give it, I think, let's just check 20. No, that's padding radius. Okay, so we've done the first one. So now what we're going to do is we are going to add some paddings to the side. So we might start with 20. Let's see, let's start with 40. Okay, let's do 40. I think I'm liking 40, right? 40 looks okay. Yes, this one looks kind of longer because of maybe the content. Are we missing any content? I don't think we are missing any content. We are not missing any content in any way. So yeah, let me zoom out. It kind of look long. I don't know why, but well, let's see. Let's see why in the nearest future. Okay, So as for these, we're just going to duplicate and change some certain things. So for this, the default one is going to be, the default color is going to be white, then black. You get, so it's when we duplicate it. So now we're going to duplicate, we're going to delete. But before duplicating, what's the, this is the right one. Okay, so we're going to duplicate, so we're going to delete, sorry, not this one, we're going to delete this one, we're going to delete this one. Okay, so another thing again that may make it, slim or look longer in a way, it's maybe the spacing. So when we add, maybe if we shrink it together, it's going to work like that, but it's not really much of a problem, right? So the next thing is we are going to change the content. You see how easy it is now to just change. Once you've built one, the rest is going to be easy. So we are going to replace that. Then we're going to just retain this, we're going to change this color back to, we're just going to do this, then we're going to do this, then change this back to the original color. So for this, we're going to change this to plus. Okay, so then at the end of the day, we publish. So once we publish, we check what we have done, and we could see everything is there. So I want to change this color because I'm not feeling okay with it. So I'm going to come down, so I'm going to use this. So we're going to come here and we're going to find the color of it, and we're going to reduce it. I think this is it. Then it's supposed to be white, right? That is the subtle color I'm looking for. As I reduce it, you could see the kind of you could see how calm it became. So that is what I want. So we are going to use that side background. I'm changing it to white. We can't be using subtle color for that. Okay, so we have that. So now we're going to refresh this so that we don't play around with the same things, so we can easily see what we are doing. Okay, so once it has refreshed, we check and look for anything, though we're still going to check if there's any mistake, if there's anything, mobile responsiveness, yada yada, and the rest. And if there's any problem, we can kind of sort it out. So for this to, once we fix the button stuff, we're going to come back to check if there is any problem, because once we hover around it, it's supposed to take particular action, you get, because the hover by default has already been affected. So but for the hover for these guys, I'm going to just do it because I think since we've already touched this, it's already, so the hover, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to reduce the opacity. You get why? So you see that. Then I spoke the way we speak. So we have that, the border radius, then we have solid, and we have one. So that is more like it. So all we just have to do is just copy and paste style. So exactly what I just did. So it's going to just be the same thing, but we're going to have to check it again to see if what we have is the same thing. So we have this, but this one will be changed from the general settings, you get. So I think our pricing is already good. So the remaining thing is just this color, the color of the stuff. I wish there is a function to make border color gradients. I don't know. It can't, but let's say in the future, shall we'll try it, because I feel there should be a way. So we're going to change this. So I'll do more research on it to check if we can actually change a border color to gradient. So we have this. So this is more like highlighting the one that you would want to go with. So the next section that we are going to be working with is going to be this section. So there is a background here. There is this. We're going to export this, and there is this. So this is not going to be as difficult as the rest. Yeah, it's not going to be as difficult as the rest. So let's go into it. So we will need another section or container. Then looking at it, I'm just going to need two sides. That's the left hand side and the right hand side, and we're going to need what do they call these things? Accordion. So we are going to first of all 80/80. Let's not forget padding, top 80, bottom 80. Then once we do it, we would bring in, should we? Okay. So this has its stuff, then we're just going to duplicate it. This one is not that difficult, should not be that stubborn. So we'll just bring it like this. So all we just have to do is we'll just bring this here, that's the text, and we'll just come to our design. So sometimes we can just even copy this existing design so that we don't keep making any new mistakes. So I think we'll just do that. So just copy this and paste, right? So we're just doing things from scratch. Then here I know that there is something here that we did, so I'm just going to do this and clear it. Then I'm just going to copy the text content on it. Then I'm going to paste. Then I know it has so this one I'll just write it here. I'll just leave it the way it is, so I'm not copying from anywhere else. White. Okay, so the next thing we're going to add is accordion. Okay, so we've added our accordion, right? So you can't see anything because it is dark. So the accordion, do we have to change any? Yeah, we would have a lot of settings to do, but I need the, sorry, I need to see what I'm doing. Okay, so now on hover, by default, this is how it looks like. So by default, this is how it looks like. On hover, we have to change it. So on hover, we are going to change it to, so I'm wondering why other things get to get this gradient, but for borders, they don't get to have it. Okay, so we would change this on hover to this subtle color. Is that the background? Did we do the background? Oh, no, the background remains the same. We're not changing the background, we're changing the text. Hover. You get the logic. So now on active 2, active, we would use this. So meaning when it is on active, this is active. This is what active means. So it's going to be like this. So the next thing, if you check here, that is what we have. We have these settings. This one. Then how we are going to achieve these lines. So how we're going to achieve the lines is we are going to come, I think it's the content, right? We would come to the accordion itself. We are going to put solid. I want to try something. Yeah, okay, yes, that's it. So now it's going to be 1, and we're only going to leave it at the bottom. So here will be 0. Okay, then here is going to be 1, then we're going to click on publish. So when we click on publish, we are going to check to see what we've done. So if I click on here, you can get to see that it is already there. But I think we can look for a lesser color. Okay, we've not choose the color. Yes, we've not choose the color. So we're going to use this. I think this should be lesser than the one that we already have. So yeah, I think this works. This works. So I think this works. So I think this for everything. For hover, let's check if it works for everything. So I think it should work for everything. So both for, I checked something. Oh, okay. So what happened is the inner content too has a kind of none. Let's see if it adjusts that. It should not have any. So yes, it doesn't, because it was having some inner stuff. So let's write something in the inner content so that it's going to look like it actually has the stuff on it. So what we are going to do is we are going to click on this, just take any one of this stuff here and put it there. Then we're just going to change the stuff here and put it this, and yeah, so we're going to check what we are doing to see if there is any changes to it. So by default, you see this. Okay, so what we can do is we can reduce the color to that's the inner content color to this. So on hover, you get to see this. So now why this one is opening is because of there is a settings that allows it to automatically turn on. We're going to go back to it. I think there is a settings at the first one. So this is it. I'm going to check for it. Expand, collapse, position, item position, instruction, um first expand, all collapse. So all will collapse in the beginning, so you don't get to see them. So let's take the contents and copy them. So this particular place, it's supposed to be for it was supposed to be for the kind of businesses that it works, like creative freelancers, as the services that they do. Then we're going to try to do that, and we're going to try to replace it. So we're going to paste this here, and we're going to copy this one, and we're going to try to paste this one here. If we are hearing anything in the background, please, I'm going to adjust that very soon. So then we have this final one here, and we're going to place it like this. So we have creatives, this, then we have something here. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is we have to take this image and we have to place it in this place. And if you look very closely, you would notice that there is a background here. So we are going to also take that as well. But first, let's take the image. So we are going to export, and we're going to export it as a PNG. So we're going to export this. So as it's exporting, we are also going to find that background because it is locked. Okay, found it. Then I'm going to unlock it. Then I am going to export it. So I'm also going to export it as a PNG. So both of their sizes are a little bit big, but I always like to get the most optimal size of any image. So I'm going to open PNG3 to reduce the sizing. So I'm going to open this, and the both of them, I'm going to select them. Then I'm going to download it. You could see that it's reduced into 18 KB, 41 KB. So I like it as small as I can get the files, I would get them. So the next thing is I'm going to put an image here. Then as usual, I'm going to replace that image with something else. So for this, I've been able to, I think I was able to download one, right? I downloaded both of them. The first one is, I'm going to upload the other one. I wish I selected the both at the same time. I'm going to select it. So I'm going to select this image, then I'm going to put it here. So what I'm going to do is that so that both of them will be sitting at the same level of the same height. So I'm going to center both of them. So when I center it, you could see that both of them are now staying in the same height. Then I'm going to introduce that background. It would be a overlay because it's actually an overlay. So it's a background overlay. So I'm going to select it, then I'm going to bring it in. So it's going to do its thing, but I'm going to the background overlay, the transparency of it, I'm going to increase it because it is very transparent. I've done everything in Figma, so I don't have to reduce. So you could see that smooth transition here. So that's exactly what I want. Then I know here, I know guys, this guy is looking weird, but we're going to try to see if we can adjust that in a jiffy. So let's see what we did. So we have this is not bad. I don't think this is bad as large as it could be, but I think we can reduce it. So we're going to come to this side, then we're going to click here, then I'm going to from the left hand side. Is it from the left hand or the right hand? Let's check that. Okay. Oh, padding. Sorry, we are supposed to not use pad. It's supposed to be padding, right? Padding is supposed to reduce them from the left or the right hand side. Okay, okay. Sorry, I was okay, yeah. But it should not be pushing this. It shouldn't be pushing this. It shouldn't be pushing this because at the end of the day, we don't want that to go too far. But I think this is great. Yes, this actually still look great, not bad. So we are going to this is good. This is very good. So we are kind of done with this section, but let's check very well before we move because sometimes we tend to leave things without checking them. Yeah, I think we've got that. We are almost rounding up. Cool. So now we have two sections, this section and this section. So now what we're going to do is, I think we have something that looks like that. So instead of us just, starting from afresh, we could just simply paste here. So now in pasting here, we are going to just change out the details of the design. So I'm going to just come here and replace this. Then this definitely, the size is going to change because I feel this size is different. I don't know, but this is H2. Is this still H2? This is still H2. Do we temper with its size? Yeah, I know that something changed. But during optimization, we are going to still look at everything to check if everything is in order, right? So during our optimization, we would know if things, we're going to check this and we're going to, okay, I think this is very, very small. We would try 38, but I don't want to, waste more time. When it's time for optimization, we are going to optimize everything that is needed. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to do this. Let's just finish up with this. We're going to put this here, then we're going to publish. Then we have this here. Okay, so if you notice, we have this star, we have this, we have this. So how do we go about this? So now we have almost something similar. We have something similar, right? But instead of doing this, since we already have this, we'll just take few of the items here. So I think I'm going to use these guys. Just watch what I might do with them. So we have this. We have this. So first we have the stars. We have the contents in between, and we have the heading. So now we would bring in the contents in the middle. So then we can change this. So I'm going to copy here, then I'm going to paste it there, then I'm going to select the color here. Okay, so I said we are going to use this, so I'm going to show you how we're going to use this. And for the top, okay, so we have to bring this to the very top, then let's just bring this down, then bring this to the very top. So everything looks like they are centralized. So let's position them in the middle. So these I should reduce it to around 5, let's say 6. Okay, then these I would centralize it in the middle. So like usual, we're going to delete this so that we will be able to see exactly what's going on. So I'm going to just add container to the right, I'm going to add container to the left, then we have this. So this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this. You see what I'm going to do? It's a very weird thing I found, but it works. It still does the job. So now imagine you have this, then instead of the default one, you put them in line. And when you put them in line, you put them in the center, and you can adjust the spacing. So I think this spacing is perfect. Then you can increase the size as the icon size. So we can increase the size, then we change them to all stars. So you can even delete one, sorry, you can delete the remaining two, then you start with a star here. So we have full star, whatever kind of star you want. So we can select that star, insert, then all we just have to do is duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. I think we have 5 stars. Yeah, so we have to take the color because I don't think this color is part of our color guide. So we have to manually pick it. Then we are going to the icon. We're just going to select the color. So you can choose to make the, let's say for example now where the last one had this add this color, we can just say the last this thing. Okay, this is where the little issue is. We would not be able to separate the last one, but the last one can still have half, because if you say 5.5, you can say, okay, instead of saying the full thing, you can just I just thought about that. If we were to just do half of it, it might be a problem. So normally this is a half, half star. It's not a complete full star. But if we want a separate star, we cannot edit directly. So there's another way, there's another thing I'm going to try. I'm going to try icon. So this is icon, but the problem I have with icon is you can only have one. So if you want to duplicate, they all stack like this. So the only way to do this to make it very efficient is, I'm going to show you 2 ways, is by putting a box inside here. Then you drag, let me look for an icon, drag it into that box, then you reduce it to the size that you want. Like for example, now we have that as the size that we want. We can, let's say, make it 20. So when you've made that thing 20, the next thing that we can do is to change the color, paste the color, then you duplicate. So let's duplicate. Let's say this is 3 4 1 2 3 4, then 5 stars. So all we now have to do is we do it like this. Then I don't, let me do, this is center. I want to check if this center works the same. Okay, it does not work the same. Justify. Okay, then you have this. So you can also, I think you can use this to reduce the distance between all of them, right? So the good thing here is you can edit this one single and say, okay, I don't want this, right? I want an empty star. Say for example, that this particular star would have this color and will just retain this color, right? So this is like telling you this is the star. So I feel both works in different scenarios, but let's just take this, he should rest. So but you have seen both ways to go about it. So let me see. I was trying to select more than one item, but they are not all selecting. So let me get structured. Okay, so structure has allowed me to select all of them. Let me don't select the last one. Okay, yes, I want to change their, oh, okay, so let me just do one. I can select all, but what I wanted to do was select all and edit. It does not work in Elementor. I'm forgetting it only works in Kadence. So I'm going to try 16. I think 16 is fine. So I'm just going to copy and write this and paste style. So this other one is not having the same style. So I'm just going to come here and adjust it manually to 16. So that is how you have your stars. So here all we just have to do is make it bold. Sorry, come here, make it bold. Then I don't know, I'm always lost in Elements. I don't know if any of you feel that, but I get lost every time on Elementor. Then change the wordings. So now once we are done with this, the next thing is the background. You know, we did some border thingy here. So we're going to remove those. We're going to put it back to why is it doing that? Default none, sorry. Then border radius. Do we have a border radius? Yes, we have a border radius of 20. Then our background is this. So we publish and let's see what we got. Voila, we have what we want. So all we just have to do is just duplicate. So we're just going to duplicate it. Then we delete. Then we replace with the text that is supposed to be there. So same thing we're gonna do here. So I feel this thing is too big. I don't know if it's me, but I feel they are kind of big. I don't think there's any other thing going past. Yeah, I think this is preferable. Preferable. Prefer this. Yeah. Okay, let's leave it at this. Okay, much better. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to work on this section. So this section is actually quite familiar with this section, so we are just going to do some duplications and some repositioning. They actually are almost the same thing. So we are going to copy this because everything about this is what we want. We're going to copy and we're going to paste. So what we are just going to do, we're only just going to delete, drag this guy here, copy this. Let me just do this here, PR, because I just want it to be in the same line. Then we don't need this, but I feel they can be, this should be here. I know we didn't put it here, but I feel it can. Let's just leave it. Then we'll just have one of these, copy, paste. So we'll just have it on the left hand side. So I think we have what we want. Yeah, we just did that in less than few seconds. Okay, so I feel this stuff look like it is not centered. That's the background, that's the overlay. Okay, now it's centered. Cover. Okay, so let's see if there's any adjustment to it. Good. So we have what we want, our text. So but there's so much spacing with this guy. I don't know, Elementor, I don't know why they do this to this. Okay, here we got this. Then for here we'll just replace this with the questions here. So we'll just replace them, copy. I'm always going here. Paste, copy, paste, add another one, copy, paste, we add another one, copy, paste. I think this, so I'm coming, let me see what this does. I think this is 9, so we need this, I think like 15. Let's just give it 15. I think that would be nice for it. Okay, I think this does the job. Then I think we'll do that to this too. I think it can give it more. I think we give it 15. Okay, so we have this here. Then I think for the home page we are done, guys. We are done. So the next thing that we are going to be doing is we are going to be optimizing both for mobile buttons, any form of optimization. That is what we are going to be doing next. So now in optimizing, we have to do the first thing, which is customizer. So I want to the height of the text, especially for the bold ones, I want to make sure it's properly. So we're going to go to colors first because there's a lot we have to do with colors and buttons. The color, I think we did one. Then the buttons. So when you hover, I feel this has to be transparent. As you can see, it's not transparent. So we'll make it transparent. So if you make it transparent, there is nothing there. So we're just going to have to bring white, meaning there will be white here. Then we're going to bring this and just make it one. So okay, one doesn't cut it. Okay, let me just bring one, refresh, and we're going to restart the page again because normally it should show. I'm coming. Let me put border here. Let's see. There is no border here. So let's just reduce this. There's not supposed to be border here. Okay, we've given it one, it did not show. So what we're going to do is we're going to refresh. But there are some things that does not affect it immediately. So you could see that it affected it. So we're going to go to color, sorry, we're going to go back to buttons, then we're going to reduce it to 1. So the like as usual it did not show. I'm looking for a faster way to. It's because of the page is doesn't have a header and footer. That's how we can easily automatically refresh it from here. So we have to always reload. Okay, so we have that. So anytime I'm wondering why this did all my buttons change? Not all now. Okay, everything that needs to be changed which changed. Okay, we're going to check this. We need to know what's up. Okay, by default. Okay. So this one kind of we are going to check it. So the next thing we're going to check it is the next thing we're going to check is the header line height. So the line height. Oh, okay, let's make the line height 2. This thing that is not refreshing real time is a problem. Okay, the line height is not affecting it. Huh. So probably line height is going to be from Illustrate what do they call it? Elementor itself. So we're going to go back to amend that 1.5. Just 1.5. Then okay, let's see because this is 2 sha. Let's see. Is it increasing in any way? Didn't increase because this is supposed to be H2. So let's check. It still did not affect. Okay, which is not a problem. We would have to do that directly on we're going to directly do that on Elementor itself. So is there anything that we need customizer for so we don't come back here again? I don't think we need customizer for anything. So now let's optimize the page from here. Okay, so the first one here is this. The line height. We are going to the line height. Let's use 30. That okay, that's going to be 38. Most of the time, it's always 38 or 40. I don't think 48 is going to be too much. Okay, 48 is actually perfect. 48 is perfect. So now let's see if there is anything that we need to do in this place, because so as we are moving each step, we are actually, you could see that the line height improved significantly and it's readable. So now here I feel there is so much spacing between here and here, here and here. So I think um let's just do this first. I think this should give it at least some spacing. Good, I like that. So same thing we are going to kind of do here. We're going to give it a 0. So now you know that there's a spacing between here. So I still like the spacing that it gives it from here, but we're going to bring these guys closer together. So, and from the design, I feel this there should be some kind of spacing between this place, so it's like there's this demarcation. But I think one way to solve that is, you know, the text is way smaller than the way it's supposed to be there, so we're going to go to text and we're going to give the text 12, but we're actually going to give it some top padding. We're going to give it some top padding, but we're going to reduce the bottom, so it's going to be closer to these guys. So we're going to refresh. Okay, I think the text that was there before was okay. So let's not do anything to that. I think I prefer, yes, I prefer this. Okay, now another thing again is we need to bring these guys closer. One way to go about that is there's a modder stuff here section. Let's go to structure. So the modder container for here. So what we are going to do is, another thing again is mobile responsiveness. So this is tablets, this is tablets, this is mobile. I don't think we really have much issues with mobile for here, but where we will now start having issues is here. So there's a reason why. I know, yes, I've not forgotten the buttons. You guys think I have, I've not forgotten it yet. So we're going to do something to this. So the button, so that we know that we are done with the buttons and we're not coming back here. Oh, there's one other thing we forgot about the button. The button, we are supposed to give it some 20 width. So now I remember, say, well, this is general customization. We can always come back here whenever. Border radius, we are going to give it 20. Publish. I don't like as I have to always keep refreshing to see if things are being updated. Okay, no, that is too much. Let's give it 5. Let's give it 5. Now I'm supposed to press. Let's go to buttons and we're gonna just give it 5. It's so annoying that it's not showing the result real time. Good, I think this does the job very well. Yeah, I think this is good. So now we're going to cancel this and go back here. So for here, by default it wasn't showing anything, as you could see here. So we're going to first of all go here, and as you could see here, it's showing solid. We choose solid, but I think we didn't choose a color, so we're going to choose white, and this is the white that we have here. Then on hover, we are going to choose this. So border color, since there's already a border there, we're just going to choose this as the border color. So when we click on publish and we click on refresh, so we get to see this. We get, so the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to refresh this page because we've done some little changes to it. And you can also and we can also inspect to see how it looks like on mobile, so we don't just, you know, look at it from one side. Okay, so on mobile there is so much space here. So how do we fix that? This is what we can do. So this particular stuff here is what is actually causing it. So on mobile, we can turn off the visibility. So for responsiveness, we would just hide on mobile. That's portrait. So we're going to look at it again. Good. So now this, you might be seeing this as, oh, this is a good thing, but for web and this guy, they're not actually good. So what we are going to do about it is we are going to convert this container to a grid. So with a grid, it works. So you could see how that worked for us. And we would how many is this? So it's just going to be one. So this is if we have 3 rows. For the columns, so you could see that we have enough. Let's close this, enough space. But note, remember, when we are switching to mobile, we would have to change this. So the next thing is that I wanted to do, let me see if grid does it. I don't think grid does it. So we are still going to shrink the distance, but let's check if grid works on the spacing. Sorry. So no, it doesn't. It won't do anything. So what we are going to do is we are going to, since we are still on the mother this thing, we are going to, on the left hand side we would call it 50, and on the right hand side we would put 50. So if it's not enough, let me try 100. Okay, let me try 200. Good. I think 200 will do it. So the idea is shrinking the size and making it much closer. For mobile, there may not be any difference. You may not spot any difference, but we are going to fix whatever it's going to be on mobile. So for here, you could see it's clean, it's nice, but for mobile, we have to fix it. So for mobile, let's first of all start fixing it for here. So for here, we would remove all these things. So we're going to remove it 0, yeah, 0 all through. And for tablets, I think tablets is fine. For mobile, we would change that grid to 3. How many do we have? Oh, we can only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Would always have one lagging around. Would always have one. If I increase it to 4, that will be way too small. Okay, let's just leave it at 3. So for mobile, we would have that. So let's inspect for mobile. So for mobile, yeah, as usual, we would have 3. So as the owner of the app, let me even do justice to it. I like things being even. I'll just delete 1. Okay, so because we are using grid, I'm going to pick it to 6. So yeah. So we have that, makes it more balanced. So now I think for mobile, all these other guys, they look normal. They don't have issues. Okay, this is where we spot a problem. For this, I don't think we need this. And for this, do we need any? So let's put it at 0. Then, but for mobile, we would have to make some little changes. Okay, I think for mobile, it should have corrected itself. Let's check. Okay, yeah, for mobile we would have to position it to the left hand side. So let's check that. Yes, for mobile now it's positioned to the left hand side. So another little thing that may be a little bit of an issue is we have to check the this guy by default has some issues. So we have to that's the top and bottom, top, bottom. We would have to do that. So we're going to check to see if it's aligned. Yeah, I think this does the job. Then let's see if there's any other problem we have. Okay, this guy might be a problem, so we have to look into it. So what we are going to do here is we're just going to go to this, then we are going to remove this. Then after that, we are going to, I think for mobile, let's see if for mobile if it's adjusted already. So I think for mobile is adjusted, so we're going to refresh to see if it's adjusted for mobile already. Okay, for mobile is adjusted. So all these ones that are spreading to the edges, we are going to work on them. So I know why they are doing that. So these ones, I think everything here is okay. So this guy, we are going to work on it. So same thing that happened to that side, we're also going to come here and put a 0 on it. So that should work for both mobile and this thing. So now what I'm going to do is for each and every one of this thing here, I am going to give the left and the right side 20, each and every one of them, each and every one. So the reason why is if you check the mobile, some things are so too close to the edge, like this, like this. So I'm just going to give everybody 20. Everything. So here too, we're going to do the same thing. Then everything is awesome. We're going to do here. We're going to do here. Then we come here, do the same thing. Then do the same thing here. 20, 20. Then last but not the least, 20, 20. Let's see if this does any improvements to our mobile. So this is it. This one's never had really much of an issues. You could see now that everything look like they are more centralized, right? They are now good in the eye, right? So then another thing that we need to adjust is sometimes the spacings between one level to another level, it's kind of ginormous. Take for example now this level here. So what we are going to do is, since here already has like there's so much space, so we're just only going to reduce here to like 20, right? So it still show that there is still a large number of space. So that is what we are going to do here. So we're going to come up and see if there's any other thing. I think here too we'll just, or I can still leave here 40, I'm sorry, 80. Then this particular guy, so both the top and bottom, he's the main culprit. So we're going to make it 20 and top 20. So yeah, okay, publish. I don't think all these other ones have issues. So now minus this primary text that has a large number of 40. we need to know what we're going to do with this and the line height. So the line height we give 40 something. So we're going to do the text, and I think the size, I don't know, I think it's 38 we give to them. Let's take it 38. Then the line height, we are going to, I think that line height we use 48. Okay, no, let's do 48. Okay, so now anyone higher than 40 we're going to do around 38. So let me see, 34. 34 looks, I think 34 looks okay. Yeah, 34 looks very okay. So we're going to do the same thing here. So we're supposed to do that in the beginning though, but still no problem. Oh geez, me and my forgetfulness. Um, 28. Did we give that 28? Are you sure we gave that 28? Wow, 28. Okay. So we give you 28. Then okay, this one doesn't really do line height, but let's just still give it, I think 30, 34. Yeah. So something 28. To me, they still look small. It still looks small. Let's just make it 30. Let's just round it up to 30. 30, yeah. So 30, 34. So I think so 30, 20, 34. Yeah, this one needs that boost. 30, 34. Good. I think that's all for now. I think we've kind of optimized it for mobile. We have this. I think for mobile, this looks good. This looks good. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to apply animations. So we're not going to apply so much animations to it. So first, the only one we are going to apply is first we have transformation and we have motion. So motion is, I think transformation is let me see, rotate, no. So we'll be doing more of motion and hover, right? So this particular one here, we're going to just do fade in, and the fade in will just, let's do 500. So it's going to be slow. Okay, then I think slow, you get, so you see how what it did there. So I think that one will be much better. Then we're going to click on publish. Then another thing again we can do is, I think there is an hover effect. Each containers have hover effect. Okay, so if we go to style, then we go to hover, then let me see. Okay, I think it's gonna be image. Image. Okay, I think it's image that has the background. Supposed to, this should have, I'm coming. If you hover on the background, normal. Okay, I think it's image. Normally image has its over effect. Let me show you what that is. So if you come here and you come to style and you come to hover, you would see that there is an hover animation on it. You get, so if you click on hover animation, you can see grow. So I think grow would be nice. Then if it's grow, I used to like it, yeah, that one. So this is for images, it's actually nice, but for, I'm not sure, I've not really seen it, I'm not sure it's here for this. Let me calm down to look at it very well. Background border, let's see, motion animation. So this should have an this should have a scroll mouse. This is sticky. This is entrance. It only has entrance. Then this is transformation. On hover, rotate, scale. Let's try this on hover, scale to, okay, no, this is, we're going to, this is, okay, I'm going to reduce it to around 1. Okay, yes. So we're going to do that. Yes, we're going to do that. But we're going to make it much subtle. That's going to be 0.5. I don't know if it allows that. Oh, okay, yes, it does. Wow, okay. 0.5. So there's no much. We don't want to do so much animation on this. So we're going to go to transformation. Then we're going to come to hover, then we're going to come to scale, and we're going to do this. Okay, good. So next thing we're going to, so we're going to do it, we're going to go back to the rest, and transformation, hover, where I use scale, then paste. So I just like when something is being interactive. So we're going to apply that to every one of these guys. It's work, my micro interaction is work, but it's worth it at the end of the day. So transformation, scale, this, let me see, I want to try something. I'm trying to get it. Edit container. Okay, so now if I come to copy and paste style, okay, yes, that was what I was trying to avoid. It's going to change, so we don't have any other choice than to do it manually. I was trying to see if we could do it in a fast way, but nope. So I'm going to change it one after the other. Huh? Oh geez, because if I copied that, are you kidding me? I wish there was an easier way. I think maybe later, if we're going to have motion in mind, we'll just do all these things at the beginning. But sometimes it's not easy, because sometimes it's, well, we will shall do it on everything, so we don't over animate the full page. We'll try not to do it on everything. So scale, we're kind of almost done with it. Just a few more. So I feel we can do it for these guys. So these guys actually fits it. They really did it more. So this one's too. You can hover around it. Or should we hover the image? Let's just go for this. Then these two. Let's just quickly do this. Then scale. Just scale it here. And I think this should be the last one. Let's see. Select it. Scale and select. So this is it. So now let's get to the bottom. Let's see these scales. We don't need any other thing to scale. All these ones we don't need them to scale. It's going to be overscaling. So all this comes here. But I think what we can do this is we can make this come in motion entrance. Let's just give it fade in slow. Let's just give it 500. Yeah. Cool, 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 cool. So yeah, this is what we have. So you have this. This is nice. We have this. Good. Okay, I think I may reduce that seconds of delay. It's delaying like hell. So it's not too much, but I can't. I feel like I just leave it in 100. Same thing with the one we did here. Just leave it in 100. Let's not too delayed because some person's browser may be slow and they may just see that that thing does not look like it's there. You get. So this is the animation we can do, and I think almost everything is optimized. Yeah, and this landing page is good for the client to make use of. So I think everything looks to be okay. I feel if we are doing everything, I just feel like these guys to just need it. Anyways, let's just give it to them. They just need it. It's like they are calling for it. Scale. So let's just finish that up, and we're going to do the same thing here. Then the last one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So scale. Yeah, okay. Okay, I noticed that this guy is not scaling. I noticed it. Oh, on normal. We did it on normal. Sorry about that. Scale. Yeah. Okay, so this is everything, and I think the next thing we have to take care of now is the header and footer. So in order to do that, we have to turn off this. Remember, we did this in the beginning, and we have to put it in default. So when you put it in default, we would definitely have the Elementor header and the Kadence header and footer that came with it, right? You could see that it is here, and you can see the every other thing that needs to be here would be here at the bottom. I don't know if everything is like that. Let me check. Oh, okay. Well, the style changed. It's not supposed to change. So the final action I feel we can take for this is just turning the site's default background to black, right? So one way we can go about that is we can use this. So normally one of the main page that was making me turn the whole site, not turn the whole site to black, was this section. But if we come to style, in as much as we still use this, let me try something. It didn't work because there's an image, so that's what I need to verify. So the best thing that we have to do is we're going to go to customizer. So since it's a one-page website, and even if the site is going to grow up to other pages, I think one of the best solution to go about that is to convert it to this. So this is the final solution that I feel can help the site. So let's see. So if you see those two things have changed the site drastically. Okay, so we have this, and yeah, our site is back. So the only thing we just have to do is, because of we want to use an element, we need to use an header, so the page is not like a restricted page, right? So we are going to just have to do it this. You get, so not like doing this is a normal thing. We're using the theme, so we're using both the header and the footer, and we are taking settings from the theme. So that is one way. So if it's Elementor, we would have just gone to Elementor to do it. So since we are going with the theme, it's the same thing. So yeah, remember where I said we're going to always go back to we bringing back the header and footer in the beginning. So this is it. So the next thing is we're going to be building our header and footer. So guys, the first stage in creating the header and footer is for us to work on the menus. So in order to work on the menus, what we are going to do is that we're going to come down to appearance and we're going to come down to menu. So now once we come down to menu, remember we already have home and we have blog. So we are going to add two more menus. Two, I think that's one, two, oh, four more menus to it. So in order to do that, so these are not going to be real menus. These are going to be custom links. So this will also bring us to another point in this design where we have to create custom positions. So now going back to our design, we need to do some certain things because custom links are like links. Say for example, now you wanted someone to, for example, if someone click on this link and the testimonial is in another site, a custom link will be preferable than a normal link, right? So that is one way to go about it. So but this time around, the custom links, we want, since it's a one-page website, we want the custom links to just link directly to the particular section that we want it. Sorry about that, that we want it. So for example, now if someone click on pricing at the very top here, he or she would be taken down to pricing at the bottom. So that is what we are actually trying to achieve. So in order to achieve that, the first thing that we need to do is we have to add what we call class ID, right? So a class ID is more like let's say tagging, like you tag a particular thing. So take for example, now we have the first one is services. So if we come down here, this is the services that we offer, right? So we're going to come down here, come to advanced, and we're going to call this services, right? So now calling the services, that is the first action to it. So also, if we even go to structure, I don't know if Elementor does it. Okay, Elementor doesn't, but Kadence does it. If you Kadence, once you tag a particular section, it gets to show that you tagged it, but Elementor doesn't do that. Then the second section that we would do is testimonial. I'm just going to copy this. So you have to copy the right word. You have to know exactly what you copied. So testimonial. Where's testimonial? So this is testimonial. We are going to go back to here and we are going to paste the CSS ID. We'll just change this large T to small t. So that is the first thing we need to do. Then the second thing that we need to do is pricing. Pricing, then we come down to, okay, pricing is here. We select it, then we select advance, then we put the class ID of pricing. Don't forget to put the P. Okay, so now after you've done pricing, what's the last one? That is contact us. So contact us will just be the FAQ section because this is more like our contact us section. So now we're going to put this class ID contact us, then we're going to just change this one to small later. So we're going to click on publish, but our job is not yet done. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to create these custom links. So now custom links usually start with the website's URL. So for that, I'm going to clean this. So once I clean this, I'm just going to copy this. So our first custom link is going to be services. So I'm going to come to my menu. No, this is Figma, so we don't get confused. So this is my first custom link and I'll paste this. Don't worry. Then the services here. Remember that we tagged here, services. So these services that we have here will just I would have been scared. I was like, I didn't tag that contact us. Okay, so the services that we tagged here will just put hash services. You will see the reason why. Then I'm going to put the normal services here, then do this, then add to menu. So now let me click on save menu first so that you see what we've done. Note this is not Elementor's header, this is just our normal Kadence stem header. So now because of some it's here, the services is here, just go of the color, you could see that immediately I clicked it, it came to this particular location because this is our services. You get the whole logic, and because of the hash. So now we're going to be doing this for the rest of the site. So we're going to paste we'll just use this so it's not hard for us. So then we'll rearrange this later. That is not my main problem right now. Then the next one is testimonials. Then we're going to just come back here and we're going to paste testimonial. But remember, we use the small t for testimonials. Then we're going to click on add. So the next one is, I think, pricing. So we'll do the same thing, copy, paste, clean this guy here, put the hash. We're going to come back here, then we're going to click on pricing. And come here, we're going to do this, then we're going to paste. That's pricing. So don't forget to change the P to small letter P, then paste. Then we click on add. Then I think the last one is contacts. So contacts, we do the same thing. Clicks contact here. Let me just put it here. Then we copy this and we paste, so we add. Okay, so in terms of hierarchy, this guy is going to the bottom. Then we click on save. This blog is not even the menu, I just added it because of it's a real site. So normally we would not add it because it's due to SEO. It's very important. Okay, so as you can see, we have all of them here, I think, except services, because okay, we're already on services. So you could see that if I click on this, it's sticking to, it's not showing because of we've not probably labeled them right. So if you click on that was, I think, which was this, yes, this was contacts, this is pricing. So, and you know the whole gist. So now once we've created this, we will now have to focus on the footer because we've not created footer yet. So now we have to, this is main menu, create new menu. So I'm going to call this menu footer menu, and I'm going to select footer. I know we've not created menu from this side in a very long time, but because of what we want to do, we just have to create it. Normally I create my menus from customizers. So but this is like the OG main way of creating menus. So I'm going to create the menu. Then when I create a menu, you remember in our design when we went to the footer, if you check at the bottom, we have terms of service and we have privacy policy. So we are going to, I think we already have privacy policy. Then we're only just going to, we're going to add to menu. Then we're just going to create a new page. I think you can create a new page from here. So posts, page, search. Okay. There's no, Okay, this is most recent, so there's no ability to create a menu from here. Yeah, that is, I think this is why I liked the customizer the other time. So what we're just going to do is we're going to just add a random page called terms of service. It's not like we're going to do anything on the page, so we're just going to add it. The client will have to provide all those details later. So we're going to click on page, and we're just going to call it terms of service. Very important. Then we click publish. Okay, so once we've done that, we just go back, then we go back to our menu, and I think it should be the most recent, add to footer. Hmm, okay, so then we click on save. So now we've done the two pages that we need, as the header and the footer menu. So let's check footer. So I think um this is just this. So I don't think we need any other thing again. So now first we're going to work on the header before we move to the footer. So now in order to do that, the next thing that we need to do is we need to come to this plugin. Remember when we installed this plugin? So we're going to go to the header and footer side. And we're going to click on new. We're going to call this header. So this, in case you're using Elementor for free, this is the only way you can add header and footer. But if you're not using Elementor for free, Elementor has its own header and footer. So template option, header, you choose header, display on entire website, um rows, all. I think these rows, it should be everybody that's access it. Let's check. Display custom template based on the rows. Okay, now everybody have access to this. I don't think, yeah, transparent header. So transparent header will be enabled because this is a transparent header. We're going to enable it. Layout, just leave this one alone. Content style, just leave it, just leave all these ones alone for now. Then we're going to check, we're going to publish. And now we're going to edit with Elementor. So now this is us here. We are going to, let me see, home coming soon. Okay, so we're going to create the header. This is one thing I don't like with Elementor. It's stressful sometimes for some certain things. If it was we're going for this, not like we cannot use the theme, but the tutorial is, using header. You could see that we are almost halfway done by even doing this if we're using Kadence header. But this time around we are using the Elementor header. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a column, and this column would have um 3 boxes. So we're going to add another box inside. So now this is going to be duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. No, three. We say three, right? This is 4. Okay. So we're going to make it 3. Then since there's not going to be so much inside, we don't have to control so much, and the control will be mainly from here. So we don't have to put a box inside, and do all those yada yada stuff. So the first thing here is we have, if you come here, we have this is our ultimate add-on where we have the menu, the what do they call it? So the menu is going to be here. Then we're going to choose primary menu, right? So this is the problem I have with Elementor. Let me stop complaining about them. Sometimes it's just unnecessary headache, right? But once you do it, you can always duplicate it to other sites. Once you've created a header, you just create that header and start using it for all your sites so that you don't always have the headache of recreating headers every time. So we're going to start here. Then we're going to click on this and we can choose to go with the site logo, right? So we can choose to go with the site logo, which is, I think, the most default thing to do. So we reduce it. So we're going to reduce it to be like this. Then this box, I think we would give this 50-50, right? And give this is going to be the longest, no matter how small the size is. So we're going to give here 50. Then we're going to also give here 50 because the middle is one of the largest area. Then we're going to increase the logo a little bit. Then this is going to be a button, all right? So I think we've already done lots of buttons here, so I don't want to waste that time to start paste. So we've done a button here. So the button, we're going to align it to the right hand side. So it's more like bookie call. So well, we are kind of almost done. These two main ones are done. Then here's where we now have to do some little things. So by default, this is the layout. Horizontal center. Remember, there is mobile, right? So sometimes there's a high tendency we may do two types. That is for the header and the you get the whole logic because sometimes mobile usually just have two. So, but let's see how that goes. So now, for the style main menu, we would have this. Then we are going to, first of all, is there anything padding, spacing? I think everything seems to be fine. Everything seems to be fine. So is there any layout position in the center? Yes. Arrows. Oh, okay. This is for drop down menus. So we don't have any business to do with drop down menus for now. Breakpoints, just leave the breakpoint the way they are. Width, full width, yep. And okay, we don't have any business here for now. Horizontal, yeah. Okay, yes, horizontal. That's if you want um your menu to this thing. But the good thing with Elementor is why Elementor is very good is you can use it for customization, right? Like if you want to have so much control over your menu, Elementor is good for you. But if you're a very lazy, simple guy, you can choose the themes. But Elementor gives you different kinds of header you can play around, different positioning and whatnot. So the next thing that we're going to do is probably the color. So now the background color we are not changing anything in that, but the text color by default on a normal text color it is white, right? So it is white. Then when you hover around it, it's going to be blue. Let's see if we can achieve that. Yeah, okay. And when it's active, it's also going to be blue. So then link hover effect underline. That's the underline fade hover underline should we just okay. Okay, and I know what it's doing, so it's just like this. Then active. So that is this. So now, I want to check something. So we have to refresh this. This is supposed to start showing. Sorry, I have to remove this. So as you can see, this is this guy here. Don't worry, we'll fix this. But as you can see, this is the stuffs are here already, but I don't think they are hovering, right? Because of their custom icons, so they would misbehave in that way a little bit. So I think this is almost everything we need now, right? We don't need to do any other settings. So drop down. I'm going to do the mobile. I'm coming to the mobile. So we have menu trigger, close and open. Yeah, this is everything about. So this is drop down. We barely would have anything to do with drop down. So okay, the drop down for menu though, we're going to check that too. But this is more like everything that has to do with menu, sure. So we're going to check this on the website. Let's edit this so that okay, we have this. Let's see. Okay, so most of the time you are going to do this. So we are going to at the top, we are going to I thought this was already, this should not have a background now. So most of the time we have to raise that thing up. So I'm coming. Okay, so there's one thing we can try. Let's go to the page, like this page. So we're going to go to the dashboard, or we can easily come here, but let me open it in another tab. So I think because of we have one header turned on this page, so probably there may be a clash in header. So we're going to come down here and we're going to turn the header off. So we're going to click here and turn this header off. So if we do that, let's see. Okay, this works, or we are missing our menu. So we need to find out where our menu went. So then here too, since we are already using this, we would have to give ourselves much padding. So I'm going to give 100 more. Let's just say 120. We can just say 150, so it's gonna be okay. 150. Okay. So I think this is fair enough. So now we have to figure out why this is not showing. Come, I think let me just give it 200. So it's going to be far from it a little bit. Okay, so if it's not okay, we'll come to adjust it. Oh, okay. I think because of that, we may not be seeing. So let's just give it 150. We'll not be seeing these guys here. That's yeah. Okay. Okay, good. So let's figure out why we don't see our menu. Okay, I was wondering why I can't find the menu, and I just realized that we did not select the right one. No, there's primary menu and there is a we have main menu, because main menu was what we created, so we'll find time to delete that. So this is it, and this is our menu. So we're going to click on publish to see if we're going to, if that's going to work. So refresh. Okay, so we've seen our menu here. So I feel this thing is kind of long. I don't know if we can adjust that in any way. I think that is the size of so the menu link, let's see, holding this. Okay, we'll just leave it, because if we do that, it's going to look a little bit weird. So we're going to save, and it's making it look weird. So we have this. So if we go to this, we have this, we have this. Go to testimonial, and we're going to be in the home page. So we can decide to remove the home page, right? So since by default when the home page comes here, it just shows blue, right, until selected. so we can remove it if we want. So now I think we are done a little bit with this. So I think we need to raise this a little bit more because I think there is a spacing there, if I'm not mistaken. So what we're going to do is we're going to still, I think we need to refresh this page because this page has a lot of changes that has been done to it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to edit. So because we can't really select because it's already way up. So we'll just try to give it 100. I don't want to do that. Select. No, 100 is too much. 90. Okay. And that means here too would be 90. Let's just give it 100. It has been looking for 100 right from time. Let's just give it to it, or 120. Okay. So we can adjust it a little bit. Let's say 150. Okay. I think this does the job. So we have our menu here, but if you change it to mobile, you'll see a horror show. So the next we are going to be fixing the mobile. So um after this, if you check this, you could see that for tablets, okay, then another thing again is if you check, these guys may not be properly aligned together. You may not really notice, but if you click on center, you could see how everybody is now more like in the center. So I think I'm going to still link this guy here so that we can always see any changes. So everybody is now in the middle. So as for tablets, tablet and mobile would almost have the same thing in a way. So for tablet, I am thinking of you know, making it. So for tablets, I am going to probably hide this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the settings. So we're going to go to the settings, then we're going to go to responsive. So this button, we are going to hide it on let's come here. We're going to hide it on both tablets and we're going to hide it on mobile. So here now we are going to edit this. So for mobile, I've not tapped on it. So we're going to increase this a little bit. So site logo, we're going to increase the size a little bit because it's supposed to be larger than what we saw there. Then this guy here, the menu, we are going to, we've already done, that's the inside of this menu, this thing. By default, the color would be white. So we're going to make it white. That's how we can see it. It's actually there. Then it's supposed to be on mobile, on layout. This layout is supposed to be here. Yes. On tablets, then on mobile too. Yeah. So we're currently on tablet, yeah. So on tablet is going to be here. Then is there anything that we need to change on it? Hover. So when you hover around it, that's on the icon. We can actually give it this color here. Okay, so let's publish to see if what we've done. I think something made this page not show up. Yeah. So if you check in our browser, let's check this again. I'm going to try to optimize it. So let's go back here. So we have this. So I'm going to try to, I'm going to refresh this because I think one of the easiest way to check is actually true here. Then we are going to right click and we're going to click on structure and we're going to click on this. As you can see, this is already coming out okay. Then for mobile, uh I don't know why for mobile. Okay, let's deal with mobile. I think maybe mobile will be different. Yeah, mobile is kind of different in a way. So let's see what we can do. So for mobile, I think we would use this no wrap. Yeah, no wrap option. So then let me do this because I need to see how it looks like. Perfect. I almost wanted to touch it, but I thank God I didn't touch it. So I'm going to click on publish. Then we are going to refresh again to see if what we've done has been amended in the design. Okay, so we're going to check for this. For tablets, not too bad. Then for mobile, perfect. So when we open this is another place that we need to work on. So that is the drop down. So now the drop down, we need to work on the drop down. So now the drop down we're ignoring in the beginning, right? Here, layouts, then here, the drop down. So now the drop down background is not supposed to be white. It's supposed to take this color, right? As we've done it, you could see that there is a little bit of an improvement. Then most at times this drop down is supposed to be full page. Let's see if there's anything we can do with the layout, alignment, sub icon, sub menu animation, slide up. No. Okay. Okay, we can actually change the icons from this, like if we want to change our menu icons, just in case you want to change it. So I'm just trying to check if there is anything that we are missing here. Okay, so for the drop down, the background, we already have this. Then if there's anything we need to then on hover. So on hover, I think on hover, everything on hover here is doing its job. Then on active is doing its job. But there is this yeah, divider. The dividers, we can just give it something, you know, this particular, okay, this wouldn't work. Sorry about that. That is too white. I need something close to the spectrum of dark. Okay, so I think this would work, but sometimes you can not just have it if you don't want it, right? So let's click on save and let's reload this page, because one of the best places for us to see this is going to be on a live site. So when we click on this, we get to get our drop down. Then we can select where we want to go to. Then, you know, we have this. Then we can select this to drop. Okay, so now I feel we can add some mini trigger, close icon, hover. Okay, so that's as if we are hovering around it. Okay, so for this, I feel this does the job, right? So okay, so let's take one more look at it again. So this is our home page. So we're going to just glance through everything, and we kind of, there's something kind of fishy here, right? I'm not the only one seeing it. So here, I think maybe we've touched something that we are not supposed to, but let's just check every other thing that we need to check and see if the site is very, very much okay. So I think everything looks okay. The next thing we have to be looking at now is the footer. Then let's fix this. But let me refresh first. Okay, after refreshing, it came to normal. Probably during the time we're changing one or two things, it's shaked or something. Only God knows why it did that. So I probably think maybe it was during this arrangement. Okay, so checking our header. Okay, this is it here. I think during this stuff, probably some things might have changed. We still put it here. Was there any settings that could alter this? Let me refresh, because from here it's actually looking okay. It's back to normal. I think maybe during when we were tilting with the mobile app. So now our header is done. The next thing that we need to face is our footer. So all we just have to do is go back to here. So now we've already added this, so we are going to add our footer. So for our design, we're going to go down to the bottom of the footer to see what we have as our footer. So our footer is interesting though. So we're going to put here footer. Then we're going to select, it's going to ask us where. Okay, there's before footer and there's footer, right? So yeah, so maybe you want something before the footer. Then we have entire page. Yes, it's going to be an entire page. And you can, the good thing with this thing is you can have a particular header for a particular page. That's to an extent, I'm even looking at it from that angle. So you can actually have that stuff. So we don't need to touch, we didn't touch this again. We didn't need it in a way. So we are just going to do this because we don't even need it to be transparent. So we're going to click on edit. So looking at our footer, first of all, let me export this. Okay, so we've downloaded it, but we need to set up some stuff. So we have this. So there is a divider at the bottom, at the first side. There is this. There is another divider, and we have our last section. So I think what we're going to do. Okay, the header. Do we need you here? Do we need you? Do we need you? Do we need you? Yes, we kind of still need him for the bottom, for the footer. Let's just leave him alone for now. So we are going to, as usual, have a container. So now this time around, if we have one container, this is the top and bottom. So we're going to have yes, I think even the bottom, we have supposed to done this to the what do they call it, the header too, because we did 20 all round, so the bottom 80 padding. So this is the first thing. So now we can't build on this because we have more like section 1, section 2, section 3, and well, what we're going to do is, since we're not controlling so much here, we're not controlling so much here, we're not controlling so much here, this is where we're controlling things. So what we're just going to do, we're going to just drop the items, right? Just divider. So we have a divider. The first one is the divider at the top. Then we're going to use this color. I think this color looks a little bit better on it. Then the gap, there's no gap, we don't need so much gap on it. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to add an image. So this image, we're going to replace it with, let's see if it's large. If it's too large, no matter, even if it's a little bit large, we still need to use PNG3 to reduce it. You could see how little it reduced it. So no matter how big it is, there is an option to always optimize your image. Always optimize it. Okay, so we have that. Select. It's just perfect. Jeez. So we would duplicate, have it there. So now let's publish and even see what we are doing, if what we are even doing is what we have. So we're going to refresh our main menu and I'm going to come to the bottom. Okay, lovely jubbly. So now I think that spacing is needed. so that it's not like we can't preview this. So if we want to preview this, we can actually preview this. This is what it's going to look like, right? So now I think we would give that gap, I think gap of let's just try 15. Gap of 15 should be, then I think we need the color to go a little bit darker. Let's try that. Yes, I think this is, let's try another. This one has disappeared into it, so let's try this. I think this is much better. It's not that pronounced. Let's refresh. Yeah, I think this is very okay. It's almost like what we have here. Okay, I think this is okay. So now the next thing that we have is we have the footer stuff that's going to be at the bottom here. That's this. So this is why sometimes you just design things in Figma, because it saves you a lot, like especially when you want to down design directly here. So these ones are rigid to design things on in the beginning, like for beginners stuff. So we're going to add another this, because if we duplicate, we can't control it from here. So we have to bring in another container inside. So bringing in another container inside, we're going to duplicate, we're going to add, then we're going to add, then we're going to click here, and we're going to click this. Then the first thing that we have is, let me just get my menu here. Mm, let's start from here. Let me don't rush it. Sometimes when something is very interesting to me, I just tend to want to do it so fast. So we have to put that there. So powered by Bloxforce, copyrights, powered by Bloxforce. I think I like this, but we had copyrights, right? But I think I like this. And it even used the kind of font I like in terms of text, but I think we will need something lighter. Yes, as light as that. So what did we had? We had okay, social icons in the middle. That is not a biggie. We come to social icons. Icons. Um, framed, rounded. Yeah, that's what I want. Well, let's start with what was it? X, Instagram, and let's just start with X. Okay. Then we're going to reduce the size. So once we are done with one, it's going to be easy to do the remaining one. Because I was like, why is he misbehaving like that? So the bottom would be pure white. Sorry. Um. Okay. Pure white. Then it has borders. Okay. I'm gonna deal with this a little bit. So I'm gonna check how round. Okay, I like the way it's rounded. So we have this, then we have, I think it's dark, so we just have to just do the dark. So we have this, then I don't know how curved, border radius. Yeah, that is what I want. So now I think, does this make sense? Yes, this makes sense. Okay, so for the border radius, we would so what I want to just do is I'm just gonna put 0 so I will not forget. Yeah. So we're going to come back to this guy and we're going to duplicate, duplicate. Don't be alarmed. No, not like center the center. Yeah. Okay. So X, let's just put Instagram, and because this is an official brand, we would add LinkedIn. Okay. So I think we've achieved that. Let's check if it's not too small. Okay, yeah. So this is what we have. We have this. We have this. So hover. We need to do an hover state. Okay, I know why we didn't do an hover state here. So an hover state would be, let's just give it the background this and white. So this is the hover state. Oh, okay. I see what that thing is doing. Primary color. So the primary color, if let me refresh, let me show you. I don't know why that thing's misbehaving. So this is what it's doing. So there's a curve around it. So let me see if I can force the curve not to show. So for the first one, there is this border width. Let me just put 0. So you could see as I did that, then we would reduce this to, let's say, 5. As I reduce that, it's reduced. So it's just giving an unnecessary border width that I don't like. So 5, 0. Okay, so even if you hover around it now, it just takes the normal stuff. So we're going to do that to this guy as well. I think we can copy, then let me see, paste style. Yeah, paste style. So let's publish. So we have this, we have this, we have this. This is good. So there is nothing linking them to anything yet. So once the site's live, they will link to their social icon. Okay, so the last side of it, which is the menu, um we're going to go with menu. Yeah, just actually choose footer. Okay, so I need to know what size is this thing, because that's a perfect size. It just has 2 typography default. What size is this? Let me check. 14. That's 14. Okay, these guys are too large. Okay, so the layout is footer, last menu, no, layout. I don't know if this is going to change. Okay, yes, I think for tablet and there's no breakpoints. There's not going to be a breakpoint because we don't need breakpoints, but I want to be very careful when I'm doing this. Normally, it's supposed to be at the end, but when we okay, we're gonna try that, but let's first of all finish working on it. So the padding, okay, yeah, yeah, there's no vertical padding, and all those horizontal padding, remove those things. Why? Okay. Um, 10 is fine. So by default, normal, you would be this. What did I use? I think I used this. Then if you hover around it, that's when you hover, you cannot get our normal color. On active, our normal color. So like this. Okay. So we click on publish. So we have to check for mobile and this thing. So we're going to refresh. I think this is nice. The only difference is this stuff is closer to this, right? So, but for us, there's still this distance. So I think this particular one, I was going there. See if let's see if we reduce the distance, and there's no way I can, select where the gap is coming from or something. So let's pause first and see how close it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use padding. I'm going to use padding, and the top I'm going to give it spacing. Like the top is going to be spacing, and the bottom, sorry, 0, the bottom, yeah, something like that. Okay, exactly, this is what I'm gunning for. So this is kind of what we have here in a bit, but the only difference is, let me just pick this color because I think I am envying this color, gray. Isn't this gray? 333, that's what we're using now. Am I mistaken? Let's check. Next time on Figma, the color difference, let's use this plugin, this tool. This tool give us, it's the same thing, and let's leave it. So this tool is very good to know what color, size, and everything is in a site. So it's 333 that we're using. So probably something is wrong with it. Okay, so now let's check for this. Okay, so now this is where we now know if things are working very fine. So for this, we're not doing menu. So we are, there is none, there is none. So but it's gonna be mobile. Let's see how mobile. Okay, wow, okay, not gonna lie, mobile actually took it head on. Like, I was surprised about that. So I think what we just do is, for the sake of we're just going to remove this. So for mobile, we're going to align this to the middle. So this is already in the middle for mobile. So for tablets, okay, yes, for tablets, we're going to do this. I think there's still something in that. Okay, so we have that. So for tablets, we just have this. Then for mobile is even what I'm gunning for the more. So for mobile, we have this, and I feel our website is almost ready. So let's refresh and look at it from the beginning, from top to bottom. So we have the header, we have our body, we have our header, we have our body, we have this, we have this section, we have this pricing section, we have this, we have this, and we have this. Okay, you could see how it has disappeared. Truly, this stuff actually did disappear, right? So on the main website, I don't know how it was showing very well here, but on the main website, it's kind of even disappeared. So I think it's a code error or something. So until I clicked on this, that is when it should. So I feel maybe it's just from Elementor. That should be a code problem because I cannot even phantom any reason why that would not show. So let's just take it back to what it was originally as. So for some weird reasons, Elementor chose not to have shown that thing. So let's refresh and check what we have. So now it's showing. So I don't know why. I just think for some reasons though, it did not show. So I'm even thinking I'm going to reduce this to, let's say, 50, because I'm not feeling that thing is still showing very bright and I don't want it to be too bright. So let's reduce it to around 50. All right. So I don't want it to be very obvious. So let's refresh. Okay, now it is there, but not that obvious. So let's give it 70. Okay, so giving it 70, let's see what it looks like now. Okay, so I think this is much preferable. So I don't want it to be very shouty, but we have this. So let's check for mobile responsiveness if everything seems to be all right. So we're going to quickly go down to the footer, and okay, yes, we see that this guy is not positioned well. So let's check that. But I think on mobile it was showing it was positioned. Probably it was just toying with us. Layout. Okay, but the problem I'm gonna feel about this is if we, yes, that's the problem. So here, if we do it like this, it's just that here is not showing for mobile. So for mobile, if we choose mobile, it's going to show that what do they call it, this breakpoint stuff. So if we click on none, it's going to show this. But the problem we're now having is we have this centralized to the left hand side, which putting it centralized is going to be nice. So what are we going to do? So one of the things we might consider is, let's try to see if we can force it, force for mobile, force any item to the center. Let's see. Yes, we're able to force the item to the center. But for mobile, we forced the item to the center, and let's see if that is going to work. And I'm going to refresh this side and refresh it, and let's see. Good. For mobile, we're able to um, force it to the middle. So now we are going to be looking at our site from top to the bottom and see what we have and if we've done everything. So from here we have this. I think everything looks very okay, and we have this section. I think this section, I feel these two supposed to be in the middle. So let's do justice to both of them like that. Let's cancel, I think, both of them. I don't think this is the mother container here. I thought as much. So the mother container, I think they should be centralized. So you see that it's now centralized. Okay, so one glance, look again. So let's just check if things are in order. I think things are in very much order. Okay, this is what we have in our Figma, and this is what we have here. So let's just check if we did nail a good job. So we did that. I think yes, we did it. So this is where I come into conclusion for this. And if you like this, subscribe, follow us, and we have more coming in like portfolios and the rest. This is not supposed to hover. So this guy is not supposed to hover. So we have to look into this. I think we supposed to have solved this, right? We are supposed to have solved this. So for hover, okay, for hover, I think what we're going to do is border color. We are going to give it a color, right? Then we're going to reduce it. So even if you hover around it, it's not going to hover. So like I was saying, don't forget to subscribe. Just like, when a movie is about to end and something just come in and you're like, oh, what happened? What happened? So that kind of thing. So subscribe, follow, and share to people that would like this. And we have lots of stuff coming up very, very soon. So all I would have to say is bye for now.